Chapter 46:24. Elder Ruachan's expression was equally cold. Lin Xian stood up and said, "Let's split up. He's coming for me, so I won't implicate you." "What do you mean by that? Am I someone who's afraid of being implicated?" Elder Ruachan said. "Sit down obediently. I'm here." Lin Xian said, "Senior, I know you're good to me, but this is a great sage. I can't harm you. If you leave alone, you'll definitely die. If we stay together, we still have a chance. My Mountain Sea Palace isn't weak either. So what if he's a great sage? The sect lord of the Mountain Sea Palace can control great sage-level demon beasts. I don't believe he dares to act rashly. Indeed, for the Mountain Sea Palace to be able to dominate a region, they definitely weren't weak. Moreover, they had connections with many top sections. No matter how strong the Six Dao sect was, they couldn't attack directly. Lin Xian gritted his teeth. He was already accumulating strength in secret. He gathered all the resources he had obtained in the past and placed them in a few storage rings. If the situation wasn't good, he would use these resources to awaken the great dragon sword soul and unleash a shocking attack. If it really didn't work, he would enter the Great Sage Tower and let Elder Ruachan and the others use it to escape. The Six Dao sect had sent great sages to hunt him down twice. He definitely wouldn't let him go. Elder Ruachan frowned. Only a few people knew about our arrival. How did he catch up? It seemed like someone in Shanghai City had secretly sent information to him. Don't let me find out who it is. Elder Ruachan's eyes were filled with killing intent. The person in front, "Stop right there. Or don't blame me for being impolite." At this moment, he heard a thunderous roar. Countless great daos intertwined in the sky, forming sword lights that descended. The terrifying aura caused the lightning sparrow to tremble. Elder Ruachan snorted and formed a seal. The lightning sparrow's eyes lit up, and it quickly dodged. At the same time, he shouted, "Who dares to attack the Mountain Sea Palace? Are you tired of living? I'm from the Six Dao sect. I'm here to capture a young man. I don't want to be enemies with the Mountain Sea Palace. Leave him there, and I'll let you leave safely." "What if I refuse?" Elder Ruachan said. The great sage behind him snorted. "If you resist, don't blame me for being impolite. The Mountain Sea Palace would kill them all the same. The Six Dao sect is so arrogant. Are they really not afraid of the Mountain Sea Palace bringing tens of thousands of demon beasts to attack them?" As he spoke, Elder Ruachan took out another monstrous beast from his monstrous beast sack. It was a plant. The leaves on it were like mirrors. It was very magical. He said everyone should drop a drop of blood on it. Everyone cut their fingers and dripped a drop of blood onto the mirror. Then the mirror shone brightly. The plant spread in all directions, forming illusions just like Lin Xian and the others. Then Elder Ruachan controlled the lightning sparrow to change its direction, leaving behind the illusion from before. Not long after, the great sage descended and said coldly, "Die." He struck out with his palm, bringing with it a destructive aura. The surrounding void shattered endlessly, and the illusion was also torn apart. A few drops of blood dripped down from it. When the illusion disappeared, the Six Dao sect's great sage was instantly enraged. "Courting death, you actually dare to use such trifling tricks in front of me? You don't know the difference between life and death." He increased his speed. He should be able to buy some time. On the other side, Elder Ruachan said. However, as soon as he finished speaking, his expression changed because he discovered that the person behind him had caught up again. Damn it, was I discovered so quickly? As expected of a great sage. Quickly. He continued to control the lightning sparrow. The lightning on the lightning sparrow's body burned, and it moved even faster. However, at this moment, a golden fist came from behind. It was incomparably powerful. Not good. Everyone's eyes turned red. They would undoubtedly die. At this moment, Lin Xian snorted coldly. He took out a willow branch from his storage ring and charged toward the sky. The willow branch emitted tens of thousands of rays of light and continued to grow. It turned into the illusion of a willow tree and blocked the shocking fist. There was a loud boom. The willow branch split in half from the middle, and the fist also slowly disappeared. "Run!" Elder Ruachan roared and formed hand seals with all his might. The lightning sparrow's bloodline was burning, and its lifespan was rapidly decreasing. His speed was extremely fast. The people of the Mountain Sea Palace above were all stunned. It was too dangerous. That attack just now would have killed them without a doubt, but he blocked it. What was Lin Xian holding? Elder Ruachan said, "This should be a life-saving measure given to you by the Shao clan, right?" Lin Xian nodded and took back the two halves of the willow branch. Although it was broken, there was still some aura on it. He could still use it in the future. However, it would be difficult to block another attack from a great sage. One had to admit that a great sage was really too powerful. Even if Lin Xian had the Great Sage Tower now, the Great Sage Tower might not be able to block the attack of a great sage. He would probably be injured if he stayed inside. At this moment, the lightning sparrow under his feet wailed and turned into white bones. Its bloodline and life force had been completely burned away. Elder Ruachan took out another beast and continued to fly. He also burned his bloodline. After 3 times, their expressions became incomparably ugly. There were not many peak-level beasts left in their hands. However, the great sage's power was endless. It was not something they could compare to. Were they really going to be caught today? Lin Xian gritted his teeth. He looked around, trying to think of a way. Elder Ruachan exclaimed, "This is—" He felt an unusual aura in the distance. "Let's go over and take a look." He flew quickly in that direction. In the mountains, thousands of beasts were prostrating, and there was an unusually terrifying aura in the surroundings. It caused the demonic aura in the mountains to flee quickly. This mountain range was also extremely unusual. If one looked at it from above, they would realize that it was a coiled dragon. It had a terrifying dragon vein. Where the dragon head was, there was a huge mountain that was 10,000 feet tall. At this moment, there were 4 peaks around this mountain that looked like the claws of a dragon. There was a figure standing on top of each mountain peak. These figures were extremely terrifying, especially the middle-aged man standing at the front. His aura was extremely strong. Although it was hidden, once it erupted, it would definitely be like a volcano that would sweep the 9 heavens. His eyes were fixed on the mountain in front of him with anticipation. Next to him, on the mountain peak, an old man said. He did not know if he would succeed this time. Ordinary people would have broken through several times, but Wu Dao was a sage body. The power he needed far exceeded that of a sage of the same level. It had even reached an unbelievable level. Once he broke through, the power he displayed was also unparalleled. If he broke through again, there would not be many in the same level who could compete with him, unless it was an extremely powerful legendary or ancient physique. It had begun. The middle-aged man in front of him shouted. The other figures did not speak. They were watching nervously. Chapter 46:25. The sky darkened in an instant as countless bolts of lightning descended. A bolt of lightning transformed into a giant sword that tore through heaven and earth, shattering the mountain before it. There was a figure inside. The figure shone with a terrifying purple light as he roared and punched the sky. The lightning struck and tore a crack in the tribulation. One could only imagine how powerful this person's body was. The lightning in the sky was even more terrifying. After the first bolt, countless bolts of lightning rained down. Some bolts of lightning even intertwined to form a dragon that swept through heaven and earth. The purple figure below fought back with his powerful physique. Not only was he transcending the tribulation, but he was also tempering himself. If anyone else saw this scene, they would be scared silly. This kind of body was definitely at the top of the world. Yi Dao Denier's black hair danced wildly as his purple aura swept through heaven and earth. He was like a supreme god, possessing the power to split heaven and earth apart. He grew stronger and stronger, like a celestial emperor descending. In the end, the purple light around him turned into a purple figure. He was like a god descending from the heavens, sweeping through the world. In the distance, the old men rejoiced. The middle-aged man in front of them also clenched his fists. This breakthrough was a small matter. The most important thing was the Celestial Emperor Scripture. The Celestial Emperor Scripture was the supreme technique of the Yi clan, the inheritance of the great emperor. It was extremely difficult to cultivate, and one had to be at least a great sage to use it. Now, Yi Dao Denier was qualified to comprehend the Celestial Emperor Scripture. As for whether he could succeed and reach the first layer of the Celestial Emperor Scripture, that would depend on himself. The lightning in front of them was terrifying. Ruochen, Lin Xian, and the others fled quickly, constantly changing directions. Suddenly, they saw 10,000 bolts of lightning descending as if the end of the world was coming. Someone was transcending a tribulation. They quickly flew in that direction. If a great sage's lightning appeared, it would be very deadly. They wanted to use the tribulation to scare the other party away. Behind them, the great sage of the Six Dao sect roared when he saw this. He increased his speed, and at the same time used a terrifying divine ability. Terrifying fists appeared in all directions, forming a hexagonal barrier that enveloped Lin Xian and the others. It wanted to seal them. Not good. Lin Xian and the others were terrified. In the next moment, it was completely sealed. Damn it, they were already very close to the lightning in front of them, but they couldn't get any closer. Even if they risked their lives, they still wouldn't be able to open the seal. The expert from the Six Dao sect descended from the sky. He stepped across the land and coldly said, "Where are you going to run now?" The Mountain Sea Palace's elders were terrified. The younger disciples almost fainted from fright. Even Elder Ruo Chen's face was ice cold. "Are you really going to attack the Mountain Sea Palace? Don't worry. For the sake of your Mountain Sea Palace, I'll spare your lives this time. But I have to take this kid with me." His gaze was fixed on Lin Xian. Suddenly, Lin Xian felt all the blood and qi in his body freeze. This was a great sage. One look was enough to make him unable to move. "No," said Elder Ruochen. "He's also a member of our Mountain Sea Palace. If you touch him, you'll be touching our Mountain Sea Palace. You can't represent the Mountain Sea Temple. Also, the sect master of the Six Dao sect personally asked for this item. Today, even if your sect master is here, I'll take him with me." The great sage of the Six Dao sect coldly spoke, and then a hand reached out. Elder Ruochen and the others roared crazily. However, under the aura of a great sage, they couldn't move at all. They were completely suppressed. "It's over. Is Lin Xian really going to die?" Elder Ruochen and the others despaired. If such a top genius were to fall, it would be a huge loss. Lin Xian felt the palm pressing down on him. Cracks appeared on his body. No matter how strong the 9-yang divine body was, he was only an early stage holy king. The difference in cultivation level between them was too great. He wasn't a match for this great sage, but it was impossible for him to capture him. He wouldn't just sit there and wait for death. With a roar, Lin Xian circulated the dragon race's breathing technique to block it. Lin Xian felt that he could move. He took out his great dragon sword soul, and a dragon-shaped sword image appeared. At the same time, his 3 storage rings split open, and endless energy poured into the dragon-shaped sword image. The sword swept across. It completely destroyed the great sage's aura. At the same time, the huge barrier beside him was also split open by the sword. Lin Xian's figure flashed and appeared outside the barrier, dodging the attack. Did he dodge it? Elder Luo Cheng and the others were stunned. They didn't expect Lin Xian to be able to escape from the great sage. The great sage of the Six Tao sect was also stunned. Then he sneered. As expected of the person who obtained the inheritance, to be able to block my aura, you do have some skills. You can be considered the top of the younger generation. However, your path ends here. His palm became even more terrifying. It pressed down from the sky, and all kinds of heaven and earth phenomena appeared on his palm. Endless great Tao surrounded him. This attack was impossible for anyone below the great sage realm to block. Lin Xian roared. He held the great dragon sword soul with both hands and slashed forward. The sound of a dragon echoed between heaven and earth, shaking everything. The terrifying sword chi made Elder Ruochen and the other's hair stand on end. What kind of sword is this? It's too shocking. Is this really something that a young man can use? Why does it seem like the attack of a great sage? When the dragon-shaped sword shadow and the golden palm collided, the two exploded with a destructive aura. Endless great Tao swept out. Elder Ruochen and the others were sent flying while vomiting blood. At this moment, there was nothing that could block it. The aura spread out, and the surrounding mountains shattered. The figures in front suddenly turned their heads. Is someone attacking? No, someone is fighting. This power belongs to a great sage. We can't let it affect Wu Dao's breakthrough. Their expressions changed instantly. The middle-aged man stepped forward and tore through the void. The next moment, he arrived nearby. The great sage of the Six Tao sect roared, "Die!" He couldn't imagine that the other party could block his attack. Lin Xian's face was pale. This attack had consumed a lot of energy to fight against a great sage. However, he wouldn't admit defeat. Another 3 storage rings flew out. Lin Xian was ready to use the power inside. However, at this moment, a cold shout came from above. Scram. Following that, a purple fist turned into a meteor. It flew out. An earth-shattering sound erupted. Oh no, this is also the power of a great sage. Lin Xian took out the great sage pagoda and used the void escape. He arrived beside Elder Ruochen and the others and brought them into the great sage pagoda. Then the great sage pagoda was sent flying. Lin Xian and the others' blood boiled inside. What happened? Those elders were all stupefied. Chapter 46:26. Elder Ching said that another great sage had arrived. The storm lasted for a long time before it slowly disappeared. When Lin Xian and the others came out, they gasped when they saw the destruction around them. Was this the attack of a great sage? At this moment, wherever he looked, there was not a single place that was intact. Amidst the chaos that filled the sky, there were only 2 figures standing there. One of them had a golden glow around him. It was the great sage of the Six Tao sect. The other person was surrounded by a purple aura. He was like a supreme god. The lightning behind him covered the mountain range and was indeed intact. It was obvious that he was protecting the person going through the tribulation. The great sage of the Six Tao sect was pale. The other party had actually blocked his attack. Moreover, the other party's physique and strength were even stronger than his. He felt like his entire palm was about to split open. Who are you? How dare you interfere in the matters of the Six Tao sect? The purple figure said coldly. Ancient clan, Yi family. The great sage of the Six Tao sect narrowed his eyes. The elders of the Mountain Sea Palace also felt their eyelids twitch. Someone from the ancient clan. They were stunned. The Yi family? A great emperor clan? Lin Xian was too shocked. He hadn't expected to meet someone from the Yi family here. Thinking about it, he hadn't seen Yi Wudao in a long time. The great sage of the Six Tao sect clenched his teeth. Is the Yi family going to interfere in this matter? I don't care what you're here for. Wudao is undergoing his tribulation. Anyone who dares to disturb him is my enemy. The great sage of the Six Tao sect smiled. So it's a genius from the Yi family. Don't worry, I definitely won't disturb him. The one I want to suppress is this kid. Capture him, and I'll leave immediately. After saying that, he stared at Lin Xian, Elder Ruochen, and the others felt their scalps go numb as they looked at the purple figure. We're from the Mountain Sea Palace. They hoped that this expert from the Yi family could stop the people from the Six Tao sect. However, the purple figure just stood there, unmoved. In the eyes of a great sage, everyone below the great sage level was an ant. Thus, no matter how respectable the Mountain Sea Palace was, they couldn't enter his eyes. Elder Luochen and the others felt despair. The difference between them and the other party was too great. Not only was the other party a great saint, but more importantly, the other party was a clan of the ancients, and a great emperor clan at that. It was useless. No one could save him today. The Six Tao sect's great sage laughed coldly and reached for Lin Xian. Lin Xian suddenly spoke up. Wu Dao, are you the one undergoing the tribulation? I'm Lin Xian. His voice was loud and clear, like a sudden clap of thunder that spread into the distance. The purple figure roared angrily. You dare to disturb Wu Dao's tribulation? He stared at Lin Xian with a cold, killing intent in his eyes. However, at that moment, a voice came from the thunder ahead. Elder, he is my friend. Friends? The purple figure was stunned. The Six Tao sect's great sage was stunned, and the Mountain Sea Palace's people were stunned. Elder Ruochen didn't dare to believe that Lin Xian knew someone from a great emperor clan. This was too inconceivable. The expression of the Six Tao sect's great sage changed. Not good. He instantly attacked. It seemed like he wanted to suppress Lin Xian before anyone could react and take him away. A purple finger severed heaven and earth, blocking the other party's hand. You can't take him away. The purple figure attacked. What was the meaning of this? Didn't you say you didn't care? The Six Tao sect's great sage clenched his teeth. Previously, it didn't matter because it had nothing to do with him. But now that Wu Dao has spoken, he is a guest of the Yi family. If you want to fight, I'll accompany you. Damn it. Fine. Yi family, I'll give you face today. Then he stared at Lin Xian. Kid, don't think that the ancients can protect you forever. With that, he tore open the void and disappeared. The Mountain Sea Palace's elder and the others let out a sigh of relief. He was finally gone. Lin Xian also snorted coldly. This was too dangerous. If he hadn't met Yi Wu Dao and the Yi family's people, he would have had to use all his strength to escape. You're Lin Xian? Lin Xian from planet Xiwan? The purple figure looked at Lin Xian. His gaze was piercingly cold, but there was no killing intent. Lin Xian nodded. Greetings, senior. I didn't mean to come here, and I didn't expect to meet Wu Dao here. Back then, the Central Emperor lived up to his reputation. He could actually block a great sage's attack as an early-stage sage king. You're not bad. The purple figure nodded. Then he said, Follow me. Lin Xian followed by Elder Ruochen and the others. They arrived at a mountain peak. When they landed, they felt the terrifying lightning in front of them. Elder Ruochen and the others were shocked. What kind of lightning tribulation was this? The genius undergoing the tribulation must be extremely powerful. Lin Xian was also surprised. He didn't know how strong Wu Dao was now. Next, he waited patiently. A month later, the lightning tribulation disappeared. The purple light condensed in front of them, and the war god phantom disappeared. Then a young man walked out. The young man wore a purple robe and had a handsome face. He looked like a young emperor. How was it? Did you break through? The elders of the Yi family walked up. The purple great sage was also looking forward to it. Yi Wu Dao smiled. I didn't disappoint the elders. I've mastered the celestial emperor scripture, Di Chong. That's great. The elders of the Yi family cheered. The purple great sage also smiled. Our Yi family has the hope of producing a second great emperor. He was really happy. Their Yi family was a great emperor family, a clan of the ancients. They had the inheritance of a great emperor, but it wasn't something that anyone could cultivate. Over the years, the Yi family had produced countless geniuses, but those who could cultivate the celestial emperor scripture were few and far between. Once they could cultivate it, their future would be limitless, especially Yi Wudao, who had a sage body. This gave them even more hope. Yi Wudao chatted with the elders for a while, then turned to the other side. Brother Lin, long time no see. As he spoke, he threw a punch. The purple fist seemed to have turned into a giant dragon. Elder Ruochen and the others felt their hair stand on end. Yi Wudao was only an early sage king, but his strength was terrifying. And from his words, they could tell that he was a sage body of the Yi family. It was a legendary sage body in the universe. Now that he was attacking Lin Xian, who could stop him? Lin Xian also laughed. Wudao, long time no see. As he spoke, he also threw a punch. Endless golden flames burned on his palm, as if it had turned into a sun. Their palms collided, and a terrifying aura swept out in all directions. Then, both of them took 3 steps back and laughed. Wudao, long time no see. Your cultivation and strength haven't dropped at all. Lin Xian laughed. Yi Wudao also said, Brother Lin, your 9-yang divine body isn't any weaker than my sage body. The people of Hilsi Palace were stunned. Lin Xian could actually fight against Yi Wudao. It was hard to imagine. Chapter 46:27. Divine Physique. Lin Xian actually had such a powerful physique. It was one of the most powerful physiques in the universe. No wonder Lin Xian was so strong. Even the Yi family was shocked. This was the successor of the 9 sons. He was indeed strong enough to not be at a disadvantage against a saint physique. That's right, what happened before? Why were the great sages of the 6 Dao sect chasing you? Yi Wudao asked. Lin Xian said that he took something from a ruin, and the 6 Dao sect took a fancy to it. They wanted to take it from me. I naturally wouldn't let them have their way. All right, let's not talk here. Let's go back to the family. An elder walked over with a smile. Lin Xian said, Thank you, senior, but we still have things to do. We have to go to Taiqing Ancient City. We won't disturb you. Taiqing Ancient City? The great sage nodded. Wudao, now that you've cultivated the heavenly emperor scripture, it's time for you to go out. Taiqing Ancient City will be your first battle. Yi Wudao nodded. It was time for him to make a name for himself. Let's go, Brother Lin. Lin Xian said. Senior, aren't you afraid that the 6 Dao sect will kill you? Don't you need to bring a few elders? The great sage laughed. It's fine. Wudao isn't afraid of anyone in the same realm. As for those great sages, let's see who dares to make a move against me. Elder Luo Chung and the others felt their scalps tingle. Lin Xian was also amazed. As expected of the great emperor family, who would dare to make a move against Yi Wudao? That would be making an enemy out of the great emperor family. No one would be so stupid. As expected of a clan of the ancients, their backing was strong. Next, Lin Xian, Yi Wudao, Elder Ruochen, and the others left. They once again set off for Taiqing Ancient City. Finally, half a month later, they arrived in front of a huge city. The huge city before them was really magnificent. It carried the aura of time, making people feel solemn. After the group went down, they walked into Taiqing Ancient City. There were too many experts here. They could be seen everywhere. Moreover, according to Elder Ruochen and the others' introduction, the Taiqing Ancient City was extremely vast. Not only were there places where humans gathered, there were also many forests, waterfalls, canyons, and other places where demonic beasts lived. Lin Xian was shocked as well. As expected of Primeval City, Elder Ruochen said, We're going to take care of some things first. Lin Gongzi, are you coming with us? Lin Xian, No, I want to see what's so magical about Grand Clarity City. If Elder Chung is also here, well said. Let's split up for now. We'll meet again when the time comes. Elder Fallout and the others from the Mountain Sea Palace left. Only Lin Xian and Leaf Dowdenier remained. Leaf Dowdenier said, "Where are we going?" Lin Xian said that he didn't know and was just looking around. "Why don't you follow me to a place first?" Leaf Dowdenier smiled. "What other purpose do you have for coming here?" Lin Xian was surprised. Leaf Dowdenier said, "Not really, but since I'm already here, I might as well go and take a look." Lin Xian followed Leaf Dowdenier into the city. He quickly learned that Leaf Dowdenier was also going to a clan of the ancients. The clan of the ancients was an extremely terrifying existence. Not just any clan could obtain this title. Only extremely terrifying clans could, apart from great emperor clans. Even ordinary archaic royal clans couldn't obtain this title. They had to be extremely terrifying among the archaic race and had been passed down for generations. Only then could they obtain the title of clan of the ancients. This time, Leaf Dowdenier was going to a clan of the ancients, the Wind Clan. Although the Wind Clan had never produced a great emperor, they were still extremely terrifying. The fact that they could be titled as a clan of the ancients was enough to imagine their strength. Lin Xian guessed that the clan of the ancients was far more powerful than Misty Peak and Profound Sky Pavilion. Even the Six Dao sect would have to retreat, to some extent. There were several clan of the ancients in Taiching Ancient City. In addition, there were many terrifying sects and factions. As expected of Taiching Ancient City, the Wind Clan was located on the west side of Taiching Ancient City. It was easy to find information about them because they were too famous. Lin Xian followed Leaf Dowdenier and the other guard. Finally, they saw it. A majestic mountain was floating in the air like a divine island. There were countless pavilions and palaces on it. "Stop! This is the Wind Clan. Not just anyone can enter. You two should leave quickly." Seeing the two young men flying towards the Wind Clan, four figures flew out of the divine island and shouted coldly. Leaf Dowdenier stopped and said, "This time, I'm here to see the Wind Clan's patriarch." "You?" The four guards laughed. What kind of status did their patriarch have? How could they see him just because they wanted to? Leaf Dowdenier said, "Tell her that I'm from the Yi clan of the ancients. My name is Leaf Dowdenier." It was the Yi clan. The guards' expressions changed. One of them said, "So it's young Master Yi. Please forgive us for our rudeness. We'll inform the young master." They hurried in. Not long after, several figures flew out. They were obviously the geniuses of the Wind Clan. After they landed, they looked at Leaf Dowdenier. It was young Master Dowdenier. Please. The identities of these people were not ordinary, especially the woman leading the group. She was called Wind Phoenix. She was the top genius of the younger generation of the Wind Clan. For her to personally come out to greet them, one could imagine how much importance the Wind Clan attached to them. "Dowdenier, the last time I went to your Yi clan, you weren't there, so I didn't see you. Now that I see you, you're even stronger than the legends say. Your sacred body is already making me feel pressure." Wind Phoenix said with a smile. Yi Wudao spoke. "Princess Feng Huang was very polite. Your wind god bloodline is also extraordinary. Please." The people of the Wind Clan invited Leaf Dowdenier and Lin Xian in. They had already received the news and were preparing a banquet to welcome Leaf Dowdenier. They couldn't help it. Leaf Dowdenier wasn't a disciple of an ordinary clan. He had the sacred body of the ancients. He was the successor of a clan. They naturally treated him well. The Wind Clan's patriarch was a woman. She wore a green robe and had an extremely terrifying aura. Lin Xian could sense that she had reached the Great Saint realm. He wondered how many great saints there were in the Wind Clan. Lin Xian was very curious. After greeting Senior Wind, Leaf Dowdenier looked at the woman in front of him and bowed respectfully. The Wind Clan's patriarch smiled. Calling me senior is too polite, isn't it? If you don't mind, you can call me Aunt Wind. The people of the Wind Clan were shocked. What kind of seniority did their patriarch have? She actually valued Leif Daudenier so much. It was really beyond their expectations. It seemed that they had still underestimated him. The Wind Clan's patriarch personally came down and pulled Leif Daudenier over. Come to my side. I want to have a good chat with you. Leif Daudenier glanced at Lin Xian. Lin Xian nodded. Don't worry about me. Yi Daudenier smiled. Then he followed the patriarch to the front of the hall. Lin Xian was invited to the side by other experts. How should I address this young master? Are you Daudenier's younger brother? Many disciples of the Wind Clan came over. One of the women said with a smile. This woman was called Moon Breeze. She stared at Lin Xian with a smile. Chapter 46, 28. Lin Xian said, I think you guys are mistaken. I'm not Yi Wudao's brother. I'm just his friend. Friend? Are you not from the Yi clan? The Moon Breeze couple were surprised, and the others were also curious. Lin Xian said, No. Then which clan are you from? In their opinion, anyone who could become friends with Yi Wudao must be from a clan of the ancients. I'm not from any clan of the ancients, Lin Xian said again. This time, the surrounding people were stunned. He was not from a clan of the ancients. The Moon Breeze couple was also stunned. Then, the smile in their eyes disappeared and was replaced by a trace of coldness. Although they did not understand how this person became friends with Yi Wudao, if he was not from a clan of the ancients, he was not worthy of their attention. As members of a clan of the ancients, they had endless pride, and others were not qualified to be on equal footing with them. As expected, the surrounding people no longer talked to Lin Xian. Even the Moon Breeze couple turned around and left as if Lin Xian was invisible. Lin Xian did not care about this sudden change in attitude. He had experienced too much in his life, and he really did not care about this little bit of coldness. Only those who were weak would regard their identity as extremely important. A true powerhouse relied on their own strength, and he was a top-notch genius. Therefore, he did not need any identity to help him. On the other side, the Wind Clan leader looked at Yi Wudao and said with a smile, You came at the right time. Now, Taiching Ancient City is in turmoil. With your identity as the sacred body of the ancients, you will definitely be able to make a name for yourself and be respected by the world. Yi Wudao was surprised. What could cause such a change in Taiching City? He was really curious. The Wind Clan leader side. It was the Purple Mansion that had reopened. What? The Purple Mansion? Yi Wudao was stunned and could not believe it. This was an extremely ancient power. Moreover, this title was too unusual. It was said that it was related to immortals. Countless years ago, it had been destroyed by someone. He did not expect it to reappear now. Did someone use the name of Purple? Or did the real Purple Mansion reappear? The Purple Mansion from back then has reappeared. I'm sure you've heard of the legend of the Violet Palace. It was rumored that they were related to immortals. Although it might not be true, the Zifu Palace of the past was incomparably mysterious. They collected everything in the world, and there were many experts among them. Many of the lost skills of the clan of the ancients were in their collection. Leif Daudenier was shaken. Although he was still young, he knew a lot about ancient history. After all, the Yi clan had many ancient texts which Leif Daudenier would study whenever he had free time. Among them, he had read about the Purple Mansion. The Purple Palace was at its peak 70,000 years ago. At that time, the Purple Mansion could be said to have overshadowed the clan of the ancients. This was because many experts from the clan of the ancients had joined the Violet Palace realm. For a time, they were incomparably powerful, but in the end, they were still destroyed. As for the reason, it was no longer clear, but there were a few legends. First, it was related to the remote antiquity families. Those clans of the remote antiquity joined forces to attack the Purple Palace. There was another legend about the Heavenly Court. Back then, the Purple Mansion had once attacked the Heavenly Court. The Heavenly Court was furious and fought with the Purple Mansion. In the end, the Purple Mansion was severely injured. After that battle, the Heavenly Court didn't fall. In the end, it was attacked and disappeared. Leif Daudenier took a deep breath. What were they planning to do? Did they want to restore the glory of the past? He didn't know. But this time, they were very high profile. They didn't have the slightest intention of hiding. They even invited all the geniuses in the world. He didn't know what they were thinking. Nephew, let me remind you that the Purple Mansion's methods are unfathomable. They were able to obtain the lost skills and secret arts of the clan of the ancients because of those geniuses. If you encounter them, you must be careful. After the banquet ended, Leif Daudenier went back to live with Lin Xian in the palace. He wasn't in a hurry to leave. When he returned, he told Lin Xian about the Purple Mansion. Lin Xian was also shocked. It was a bit interesting. We came out to gain experience and increase our strength. We can't miss such an opportunity. I think so too. Leif Daudenier smiled. He was also prepared to see what kind of existence this sect that had suppressed the clan of the ancients 70,000 years ago was. However, the Purple Mansion hadn't really opened yet, so the two of them were waiting. Lin Xian thought of something. That was to find heaven-defying spirit herbs. After all, Xia Zhiyou's lifespan was running out. He walked out of the palace and was about to ask when he saw the Moon Breeze couple. Although the Moon Breeze couple was no longer interested in Lin Xian, he was still with Yi Wudao, so the Moon Breeze couple couldn't afford to be rude. She asked, "Young master, why did you come out at this time?" "I want to ask about the news of the top genius spirit herbs, the kind that can extend one's lifespan." The Moon Breeze couple was shocked. "You need such a thing?" Lin Xian said, "An elder needs it, so I can help you ask about it." The Moon Breeze couple said, "Those that can extend one's lifespan are the most precious. After all, everyone wants to live longer. Such things are very rare. Even if they do, they won't give it to others. However, I know a few places that might have it. One of them is the Spirit region. However, that place is very far from here. You won't be able to reach it in a short period of time. Speaking of which, there's one that's closer. It's an ancient ruin. Although it's already in ruins, it was an extremely terrifying existence back then. It's not weaker than our clan of the ancients. Perhaps you might be able to find some lost treasures there." "Oh, is that so?" Lin Xian was stunned. Then he asked, "Fairy, can you give me some directions?" The Moon Breeze couple took out a jade scroll and said, "The map is inside. Do you really want to go? That place is very dangerous. If you die, don't blame me for not warning you." Lin Xian took it and scanned it with his soul spirit. He realized that there was indeed a map with markings on it. He nodded and walked out. The Moon Breeze couple looked at Lin Xian's back view and narrowed her eyes. "What a reckless guy. Forget it, I've already warned you. I'm not letting Leif Daudenier down. If this guy dies, it has nothing to do with me." She laughed coldly and turned to leave. After Lin Xian got the map, he started to look at it. Then he flew in the direction that it was. According to the records, it was indeed an ancient existence. Although the distance on the map wasn't far, Taiching Ancient City was very vast. Lin Xian flew for a long time before he arrived. When he got closer, he felt an unusual aura. Lin Xian realized that there were very few people around. It was obvious that not many people were willing to come here. However, there were still some. These people's auras were very powerful. It seemed that most of them were Saint Kings in the later stages. There were even Saint Kings in the peak stages. There was only one Saint King in the early stages like him. Chapter 46:29. Lin Xian frowned when he arrived. Then he walked forward. A late-stage Saint King elder nearby sneered when he saw this. He really didn't know what was good for him. In his opinion, Lin Xian's soul would probably be destroyed in an instant. Lin Xian didn't know why the other party said that. He walked forward. There were ruins in front of him. There wasn't a single place that was intact. Even the ground was red. It was blood. Countless years ago, there was a huge battle here. It was an earth-shattering battle. Lin Xian had just arrived at the ruins when suddenly a broken sword flew out from the ruins and slashed towards him. Although the sword was broken and the remaining parts were filled with cracks, its power was too strong. This sword was able to destroy everything. Lin Xian was shocked. He waved his hand and slapped out. The man-ruler seal slapped the broken sword away. He actually blocked it. Behind him, the elder who was waiting to see a joke was stunned. This guy's strength was far beyond his imagination, because ordinary late-stage Saint Kings couldn't block it at all. Interesting. Kid, who are you? The elder came to Lin Xian's side and asked coldly. Lin Xian saw the other party's cold gaze and knew what he was thinking. He said coldly, "Ancient Yi family, is there a problem?" The elder's expression changed. So it was the young master of the Yi family. "Sorry for disturbing you. Goodbye." Originally, he thought that since Yi Shiwen wasn't famous, he would capture him and see what kind of treasure that secret technique was. It would be best if he could snatch it and cultivate it. But now that the other party said that he was from the Yi family, he didn't dare to make a move. He didn't have the guts to make a move on the Yi family. Wait. Seeing that the other party wanted to leave, Lin Xian shouted coldly. The elder was stunned. Then he revealed an ugly expression. "Young master, what orders do you have?" Lin Xian said. "What is this place? Why is it so strange?" The elder said, "This was a ruin. It was said that this was the place where the ancient heavenly court was, but it had completely declined. Even so, this place was still extremely terrifying. A broken sword and a broken saber could split a Saint King in half. Generally, those who were weak would not dare to come here. However, there were still some people who were prepared to hunt for treasures. After all, the heavenly court was a terrifying existence back then." After saying that, he quickly left. Lin Xian was astonished. The heavenly court? Lin Xian took a deep breath and continued forward. Not long after, another broken saber flew toward him. The black broken blade turned into a black qilin, descending from the sky and slashing at him. Lin Xian used the mountain-embracing seal and unleashed the primordial demon mountain to contend against it. He blocked the dagger, but his expression was unsightly. He had only taken a few steps and it was already so terrifying. There must be more dangers ahead. It seemed that he would not be able to go there for the time being. That woman, Feng, and you could not have purposely made him come here, right? What could this place have? Lin Xian snorted and returned to the Wind tribe. After returning, he found Yi Wudao and asked, "How much do you know about the heavenly courts?" Yi Wudao was surprised. "Are you talking about the ancient heavenly court? Could it be that you went to those ruins?" He was really shocked. "You know that place?" Yi Wudao nodded. He knew, and it was even very famous, because the ancient heavenly court was really too terrifying back then. Although it was not a clan of the ancients, it was not weaker than any of them. Legend had it that the ancient heavenly court had produced a great emperor back then. How did such a terrifying great emperor fall? Lin Xian asked. Yi Wudao said that there are many legends. I think one of them is more reliable, and that is related to the Purple Mansion. Hearing this, Lin Xian was stunned. He had heard about the Purple Mansion before. Wasn't it about to reopen soon? Back then, the Purple Mansion and the Heavenly Court had a battle. After that battle, the Purple Mansion had completely declined. Some people even said that it was destroyed. The heavenly court had also suffered heavy losses and declined from then on. After another 20,000 years, which was 50,000 years ago, it was completely destroyed. As for who did it, no one knew. However, some people said that it was definitely related to the Purple Mansion, as expected of the buried Emperor's star. Even a power that had produced a great emperor could be destroyed. It was really shocking. At the same time, he was also curious. Could the ancient heavenly court be reopened after the Purple Mansion was destroyed? He did not know. Yi Wudao shook his head and sighed. That was something from 50,000 years ago. He asked, "Why are you going to that place?" "You need to find some spirit medicines that can extend your lifespan. I'll help you ask around. However, that place is still too mysterious to go there often." All right, Lin Xian nodded his head and began to cultivate. He continued to comprehend the heaven's secret map and waited for news about the Purple Mansion. At the same time, more and more experts arrived in Grand Clarity Ancient City. After all, a top sect from 70,000 years ago had reopened. No one knew what they wanted to do. Most people were curious and wanted to see the legendary Purple Mansion. These people all arrived. Some of them were extremely powerful, causing countless people to cry out in alarm. There was a man who looked like an immortal and had a mysterious aura around him. Some people had attacked him before, but any divine ability that got close to him would dissipate. There was another man who was surrounded by gods and devils. He was even more terrifying. There was another person who had merged with heaven and earth and seemed to be faintly discernible. The appearance of these terrifying figures caused an uproar. Many people guessed their identities. At the same time, a black-robed man walked in. When he arrived in Grand Clarity Ancient City, he took a deep breath. He had finally returned. He wondered how that place was doing. The wind race was also inquiring about it. After all, they were very concerned about the experts and geniuses of the world. After hearing this news, they took a deep breath. Finally, on this day, the Wind Phoenix once again brought people over. "Wudao, it's about time." Yi Wudao opened the palace's door and walked out with Lin Xian. The two of them nodded. "Princess, please lead the way." The Wind Phoenix controlled a small divine island and flew over. The Violet Palace was located quite a distance away from them. Using this opportunity, they rested on the divine island once more. A few days later, the divine island stopped. Multicolored light flickered in front of them. The invisible Grand Tao was as mysterious as the stars. Had they arrived? Lin Xian opened his eyes and looked in front of him. He was surprised. What a terrifying aura! At the same time, he found that there were countless figures in addition to them. Some powerful families had also come. Thousands of gazes fell on the front. There were even more geniuses around. A figure was like a cloud, like an immortal descending. After he arrived, he looked around, and the corners of his mouth raised into a smile. The people around felt this aura and were shocked. This aura, this was the genius of the Myriad Transformation sect. They had really come. Chapter 46:30. On the other side, flames filled the sky as if they were sweeping through the 9 heavens. A figure descended with golden wings. Countless people exclaimed. It was a genius of the Golden Crow clan. The other person had a holy light around him, as if he was a god. His appearance shocked everyone. He was from the clan of the ancients, the Sacred Sky clan. On the other side, another person walked over. He was wearing a robe with an alchemy furnace on his back. Countless people were shocked. It was someone from the Danding School. Heavens, how many geniuses had come this time? Exclamations were heard one after another. Suddenly, they looked up at the sky and saw a divine island descending from the sky. It was the Wind Clan's divine island. The Wind Clan had come. Everyone looked over. Someone said that the leader was the Wind Phoenix. She was the top genius of the Wind Clan. The people around her should be the geniuses of the Wind Clan. Who was that person standing beside the Wind Phoenix? He did not have the bloodline of the Wind Clan. Most of the Wind Clan had the bloodline of the Wind Clan. The storm around them was very terrifying. However, there was a man in purple next to her. He was handsome and had a different aura. Although there was no storm around him, he had a heavy power that seemed to be able to crush the heavens. Next to him was a young man in a red robe. He looked calm and had a pair of deep eyes. This person was even more mysterious because they did not feel any aura from him. The top geniuses also came over and stared at the purple-robed figure and the red-robed man. Soon, they stared at the purple-robed figure. One of them said, "I feel a terrifying aura. Could it be that you are from the Yi clan?" The people around were shocked. The Yi clan? The clan of the ancients and a great emperor clan. Even among the clan of the ancients, they were extremely terrifying. Did their descendant also come out? At that moment, another voice was heard. Yes, not only was he from the Yi clan, but he also had the sacred body of the ancients. Everyone went crazy. The sacred body of the ancients. The legendary sacred body of the ancients. Did he come here specifically for the matter of the Violet Palace? Some people were even more shocked. Who was speaking? They only heard the voice and did not see the person at all. The genius of the Golden Crow clan snorted. Who was it? The people from the Holy Heavens race also said, "What a fast speed. Could it be that you are from the Light race?" In the sky, the people of the Wind clan were shocked. Had the people of the Light clan also come? Just like them, Yi Fuqian was also a clan of the ancients. They controlled the power of storms, while Yi Fuqian controlled the power of light. Moreover, with the speed of light, it was extremely fast. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes as well. A golden light flickered in his eyes as he caught a glimpse of a blurry figure. It was indeed very fast. His eyes could keep up, but his speed might not be able to keep up. The clan of the ancients and the Light clan were getting more and more interesting. Coming to Taiching Ancient City was indeed the right choice. If Lin Xian wanted to continue on the path of a great emperor, he would have to clash with countless peerless geniuses. The geniuses of the Taiching Ancient City were enough to temper him. The others were also trying to capture him, their souls probing out. However, only a few of them were able to see him. At this moment, the space between heaven and earth shattered. A ray of light streaked across, forming a man in a golden robe. "It's you, Light." What? He was the Light. This was the descendant of the Light clan. He also had the body of light, the body of the ancients. The so-called body of the ancients came from the strongest bloodline of the clan of the ancients. The body formed by the condensation of the body of the ancients was enough to shake the starry sky and sweep through the 9 heavens. For example, the sacred body was one of the bodies of the ancients. The body of light was also the body of the ancients. Such a body was extremely terrifying. It was enough to sweep through the clan of the ancients. No one was a match for him. Only other bodies of the ancients could compete with him. The heavens were really incredible. Now that there were already 2 people with the body of the ancients, would there be any other top geniuses? Countless people were shocked. Lin Xian was also surprised. The body of light? He did feel a terrifying bloodline power from Yi Fuqian. Yi Fuqian thought that Yi Fuqian's strength should be speed. Yi Fuqian wondered if Yi Fuqian's speed was Yi Fuqian's fastest. If it wasn't, then Yi Fuqian was too terrifying. Yi Wudao and light became the center of attention. The others seemed to have lost their brilliance. Even the phoenix seemed to have dimmed. It couldn't be helped. The body of the ancients could sweep through everything. Of course, it didn't mean that others didn't have a chance. For example, the experts of the Golden Crow race. It was as if a sun had descended. The genius of the Sacred Heavens race was even more terrifying. There was a terrifying illusion of heaven and earth revolving around him. In addition, there were also people from the Myriad Transformation sect and the Pill Cauldron sect. These people had many trump cards, and their strength was unfathomable. At that instant, a crack was torn open in the mysterious immortal mountain as a few figures flew out from it. It was the people of the Purple Mansion. Countless people quietened down. They looked forward. The leader of the group was a woman dressed in purple. She was extremely beautiful. She looked around and smiled. "Thank you for coming here to witness the revival of the Purple Mansion. However, the Purple Mansion has been busy recently, and we can't welcome everyone. Only a few of you can go in to take a look. When the Purple Mansion is fully revived, we will invite the heroes of the world." What did she mean? The crowd was in an uproar. The reason why they came today was because they wanted to experience the legendary Purple Palace realm. Now that they were told that they might not be able to go in, wasn't that ignoring them? Suddenly, some people's faces darkened. "Are you looking down on us?" None of those who came here were weak. The purple-clothed woman in front of him stopped smiling as she spoke in an indifferent tone. "If you want to enter the Purple Mansion, you have to speak with your own strength. I have 8 tokens here. They are the Purple Mansion tokens. Only those who have the Purple Mansion tokens can enter. Those who dare to trespass will be killed without mercy." Countless people were in an uproar. The lady in purple waved her hand, and 8 purple tokens floated in the air. Each token was the size of a palm. They were crystal clear and emitted a mysterious aura. Just this token alone was an incredible treasure. In the sky, the 8 Purple Mansion tokens floated in the air like 8 purple moons. Everyone wanted to enter the Purple Mansion. However, the opportunity was right in front of them, and no one dared to act rashly, because everyone knew that if they dared to snatch the Purple Mansion tokens at this moment, they would be going against the world. Unless they had an unparalleled ability, they would end up in a miserable state. "I will take the first Purple Mansion token. Does anyone have any objections?" Guangming walked out and took the Purple Mansion token with a wave of his hand. His voice was heard, and everyone else was silent. Guangming had the ancient, desolate body. He was extremely powerful, and his speed was unparalleled. Who would dare to fight against him? Chapter 46:31. The expert from the Golden Crow clan shouted coldly, "Who dares to compete with me? I'll send him to hell." A terrifying aura swept across the land. No one dared to go against such a ferocious expert. After Golden Crow, how? A few more people made their move. Sheng Tianso from the Holy Heavens clan, and Yun Fei from the Myriad Transformation sect, Jiang Chen from the Pill Cauldron sect, Yu Xie from the Serene Cloud sect. These people were all top-notch experts, enough to contend against the world, so their appearance shocked everyone. 6 experts had appeared, and there were only 2 tokens left. Everyone was nervous, but no one dared to act rashly. To get the token, one had to be at least as strong as these 6 people. Who had such confidence? In the sky, on the Divine Island, Feng Huang looked at the scene and smiled. "Looks like it's our turn. Brother Wudao, please." She looked at Yi Wudao, and then took a step forward. Yi Wudao nodded and walked out as well. At the same time, Lin Xian, who was standing beside him, stepped forward as well. 3 figures strolled in the sky and came to the front. Countless people were in an uproar as they looked up at the sky. It was indeed the Wind Clan. But what was surprising was that 3 people came out. There were still 2 tokens left. How were they going to split them? The others from the Wind Clan were also stunned. They looked at Lin Xian and frowned. This kid dared to go out and snatch the tokens? What a joke. Did he think that he could be arrogant just because he came with Yi Wudao? He was really reckless. Feng Huang also frowned. Just now, she was only talking to Yi Wudao. As for Lin Xian, she completely ignored him. She only gave him face because he was brought by Yi Wudao. But now he stood out. Did he think that he was qualified to be on equal footing with her? Yi Wudao looked calm. He knew Lin Xian's strength. He was definitely not weaker than him. For a moment, countless people looked over. Even the 6 powerhouses in the sky were looking over, as well. Many people smiled. They didn't know how to deal with this situation. As a proud daughter of heaven, Wind Phoenix's every action could cause people to go crazy. She looked at Lin Xian and smiled. Lin Gongzi, I didn't expect you to be interested in the Violet Palace realm. However, young master had just arrived at the ancient city, and there were still many places that he hadn't visited yet. Why not go to other places first? How about we come back in 2 days to take a look at this Sifu? These words sounded like they were giving Lin Xian face, but in reality, they were saying that Lin Xian was not qualified. When the others heard this, they would definitely step back obediently. Unfortunately, Lin Xian didn't know how to do it. When Lin Xian heard Feng Huang's words, he laughed. Didn't he still have the token? He could go in today. Why would he have to wait for another time? The surrounding people went crazy. Was this brat stupid? Feng Huang was clearly telling the other party to back off. Could this fellow not tell? Did he really think that he could contend against those people? Wind Phoenix's face sank. She didn't say anything. It was her first time seeing such a reckless person. The 6 people in front were also shocked. They looked at Lin Xian. They also couldn't sense Lin Xian's aura. What qualifications did this person have to be so arrogant? However, he seemed to have some tricks up his sleeve, since he could stand beside Wind Phoenix. Jin Wuhao sneered. Who are you? Tell me your name. Let me see if you have the qualifications to stand in front of me. Yi Wudao said loudly. Yi Clan, Yi Wudao. He was Yi Wudao. Countless people were shocked. Everyone looked at Lin Xian. They were curious. Who was this person that could stand beside Yi Wudao and Wind Phoenix? Lin Xian wasn't from a peerless sect or a clan of the ancients. A faint voice sounded. Everyone was going crazy. This person didn't have any amazing background. What qualifications did he have to stand there? Jin Wuhao snorted. So, it's just an ant. Who gave you the courage to come here? Get lost. Everyone looked at Lin Xian with a trace of sympathy. Wind Phoenix snorted. She had already given him a way out, but he didn't know what was good for him. Since that was the case, she wouldn't care anymore. Lin Xian looked at Jin Wuhao and said, What? Is this a world where one's family and identity compete? Of course not. However, identity and bloodline were very important. You're just a rogue cultivator. How can you compare to us? Jin Wuhao sneered. For the sake of Yi Wudao and Wind Phoenix, I'll give you a chance to live. Get lost. Lin Xian said, I was going to attack someone and kick him out. Since you don't know what's good for you, then it's you. Hand over the purple mansion token in your hand. I'll give you a chance to live. Ant. You're courting death. Jin Wuhao was furious. Was Lin Xian challenging him? He threw out a punch. This punch was like the birth of the sun. It shook the heavens and the earth. Resplendent light swept across the sky and rushed towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian shouted coldly and also threw out a palm, which turned into a sun. It danced between heaven and earth. An earth-shattering power appeared. The expressions of the surrounding people changed, and they quickly retreated. A terrifying flame swept across the land. In the next moment, Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back and retracted his palm. On the other hand, Jin Wuhao retreated. The void around him kept shattering. Cracks also appeared on the armor on his body. With one strike, the winner was decided. The surrounding people were stunned. What was going on? The one who was defeated was actually Jin Wuhao. It was too unbelievable. That rogue cultivator was so powerful. Countless people were stunned. They weren't optimistic about Lin Xian before, but the result was completely out of their expectations. Wind Phoenix's pupils constricted, as if it was the first time she saw Lin Xian. Who the hell was this person? Only Leaf Dao Denier was smiling. Bullying Lin Xian? What a joke. This Jin Wu was simply courting death. Lin Xian looked at him and said indifferently, "Now, do you still think that identity and bloodline can explain everything? As a member of the Jin Wu clan, your bloodline is extraordinary, but so what? You're still vulnerable in front of me. Damn it, I was careless just now. Now, go to hell." Jin Wu Hao was completely enraged. He couldn't accept that the other party could actually force him to retreat. He had to take back his face. The wings on his back flew out and condensed into two golden sabers that he held in his hands. The sabers slashed the sky and split the earth. Lin Xian snorted coldly. With a flick of his finger, a terrifying sword chi flew out and turned into a dragon that swept across the 9 heavens. The two collided, and a great battle broke out. The sabers and swords clashed. Jin Wu Hao roared. He had used all his strength to take down the other party, but now he realized that he was too naive. Impossible. The saber in his hand actually cracked. He couldn't believe it. Those were his wings that were condensed. They were the strongest part of his body, but now there were cracks. Chapter 46:32. Damn it! With a roar, his long blade turned into a pair of wings. He charged over, wanting to smash Lin Xian's head. Lin Xian sneered. "You want to compete with me in terms of physique?" He snorted and unleashed his divine body. The human ruler seal struck out with his palm. With a boom, Jin Wu Hao was pushed back. Lin Xian attacked again, using the mountain embracing seal. An ancient mountain pressed down. Jin Wu Hao's wings turned into heavenly blades and tried to block it, but they were still unable to block it. Jin Wu Hao's body fell down. Lin Xian slashed his sword at Jin Wu Hao's palm, splitting it apart. Not only that, the purple mansion token in Jin Wu Hao's hand was also split in half. Jin Wu Hao was actually injured by this sword strike. Countless people were in an uproar, unable to believe it. "I'm going to fight it out with you." Jin Wu Hao was really mad. His blood was about to burn. However, at this moment, another ray of light flew out from the purple mansion branch and stopped in the sky, turning into a token. The leader of the group, the purple-clothed woman, saw this scene and said, "Two gentlemen, stop fighting. Today, the purple mansion will make an exception and give out another token." Everyone was shocked. It seemed that the purple mansion had recognized the strength of these two geniuses. Lin Xian waved his hand and grabbed the token. Then he turned to look at Jin Wu Hao and sneered. "You were so confident before, but now you're giving me a free sword. Do you still have the face to go in?" "Damn it!" Jin Wu Hao roared. "Kid, just you wait. One day, I'll tear you to pieces." He was gnashing his teeth so hard that they were about to break, but he didn't leave because he also wanted to know what was so mysterious about the Z government. Lin Xian snorted and shook his head. Jin Wu Hao was no match for him. The surrounding geniuses were shocked. They knew Jin Wu Hao's strength. He was extremely powerful, but he was injured. This Lin Xian was much stronger than they had imagined, especially Feng Huang. Her beautiful eyes were filled with shock. This was the person she had ignored before. He was actually a threat to her. "All right, everyone please come in." The purple jade woman led the group forward. She formed a seal with her palms, and the formation in front of them opened. Then they disappeared. The people outside were waiting curiously, but no one dared to step forward. After entering, everyone could feel a mysterious aura. Was this the Purple Palace? It was too extraordinary. This kind of great Tao was more mysterious than any other place. The purple-clothed woman smiled. "Our Purple Mansion has 9 immortal mountains. As for whether or not you can obtain the immortal fate, that will depend on your luck." Hearing this, everyone was shocked. Then they looked around. As expected, there were a few mountain peaks in the surroundings. They were incomparably ethereal. Were these immortal mountains? Purple Mansion immortal fate. Could it be that the legends were true? Shengtian Su of the Shengtian clan was also shocked. As a clan of the ancients, they knew more than others. Legend had it that the Violet Palace was related to immortals. There were even rumors that the Violet Palace contained immortal fate. Thinking of this, many people became excited. It seemed that they really came to the right place this time. Everyone, I'll take my leave first. Yun Fei chuckled and flew towards one of the mountain peaks like an immortal. The others also flew into the sky. Lin Xian looked at Yi Wudao and nodded slightly. Then he also flew towards one of the mountain peaks. When the others approached the mountain peak, they could feel a mysterious aura that shrouded them. It was as if they could comprehend the great Tao here and become immortals. Lin Xian naturally felt the aura, but at the same time, he also felt a chill down his spine. It was a shock that came from the depths of his soul. There was something extremely terrifying that could threaten him. On top of the immortal mountain, there was a beautiful figure with her back facing him. She looked like a fairy from the 9 heavens. Lin Xian was stunned. There was someone on top of the mountain. Who was it? Was it someone else? Impossible. Only a few of them had entered, which meant that it was someone from the Purple Mansion. In front, the beautiful figure with her back facing Lin Xian seemed to have sensed someone coming from behind. She also turned her head. She smiled fearlessly. In the next moment, she was stunned. It's you. Lin Xian was also stunned. Xian, why are you here? The beautiful figure in front of him was none other than Qin Xian. However, what surprised Lin Xian was that she was here. Previously, when Lin Xian returned to the 6 great grotto heavens to take away his friends, he also looked for Qin Xian. However, Qin Xian wasn't there at that time, so he could only leave. He didn't expect to meet her here. Qin Xian waved her hand, and a ray of light brought Lin Xian over. She then smiled. Seems like your strength has increased faster than I thought. You actually came to Taiching Ancient City so early. Lin Xian said, I didn't expect you to be here. When I returned to the grotto heavens to take away my friends, I didn't see you. Qin Xian asked, did you save them? Lin Xian nodded. Qin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. That's good. Seeing that Lin Xian was still a little confused, Qin Xian said, I wasn't valued in Qingqiu Grotto Heaven, so I left. By chance, I met a god and brought him here. Brought me here, I arrived a month ago. A month ago, the Purple Mansion hadn't announced it to the world. That meant that the person who brought her here was from the Purple Mansion. He asked, are the people on the other mountains also from the Purple Mansion? Qin Xian nodded. Like me, they're all young geniuses with different identities and goals. But now, they've all become successors of the Purple Mansion. Each of us is in charge of a mountain. Do you know anything about the Purple Mansion? I heard that it's a supreme existence that was destroyed 70,000 years ago. Qin Xian nodded. She knew a little about it. She also knew that this place was all-encompassing and had countless secret techniques and abilities of the desolate ancient families. Lin Xian were all from other worlds. When we came here, my master had already died in order to protect me. I don't want that to happen again. I don't want to be suppressed again. So I chose the Purple Mansion. Lin Xian nodded. Everyone had their own choice, so he didn't stop her. The legend of the Purple Mansion was incomparably mysterious. You have to be careful. Come, Lin Gongzi, there's immortal tea here. Qin Xian smiled, then pulled Lin Xian to sit down. Lin Xian didn't stand on ceremony and started to taste the tea. At the same time, on the other mountains, ethereal sounds could be heard, and there was even the sound of a zither. There was no need to think. On the other mountains, there were definitely peerless fairies or peerless emperors. After all, he had heard from Leaf Dowdenier that it was highly likely that these people were trying to get their hands on the legacy and secret magics. He had to admit that this method was really shocking. If he didn't know Lin Xian, He wouldn't have dared to sit here so casually. When night fell, the 9 mountains revolved even more. Lin Xian felt a chill run down his spine. He even saw a black lotus blooming in the middle of the 9 mountains. What was that? Permetha flower. Chapter 46:33. Lin Xian's pupils constricted as he said to Xian, I'm in danger. Cover me. Qin Xian and Lin Xian were friends who had gone through life and death together. Hearing this, she waved her hand, and the surrounding mist became thicker. Lin Xian walked into the sword world in his body to hide. This mysterious world was enough to fight against anything. Qin Xian was stunned. She didn't know what was going on. She could only wait silently until dawn. When the sun shone down, the black-red spider lily slowly disappeared. Lin Xian walked out of the sword world with a cold face. Why is there a hurricane lily here? You know about it? Qin Xian was also shocked. She said that it was the totem of the Purple Mansion. The totem of the Purple Mansion. Lin Xian's pupils constricted. This was the black lotus that sealed him and wanted his life. Damn it. Could it be that the Purple Mansion was the one that sealed him? Lin Xian's eyes were filled with killing intent. No matter what, he had to investigate the Purple Mansion. But now he couldn't act rashly. The Purple Mansion was even more terrifying than the clan of the ancients. Although it had been destroyed 70,000 years ago, it was definitely well prepared for its rebirth. He wanted power, unlimited power. Lin Xian clenched his fists. Qin Xian asked with concern, Are you okay? Lin Xian shook his head and said, You have to be careful. He couldn't reveal the secret, so he could only remind Qin Xian. Qin Xian nodded and said, I'll be careful. It's time for you to leave. Lin Xian flew into the air and flew out. At the same time, people from the other celestial mountains also flew out. The purple-clothed woman from before appeared and brought everyone out of the Purple Mansion. Lin Xian's face was cold. The others had different expressions. Some were happy, some were sad. Phoenix was disappointed. It seemed that she didn't want to leave. Yi Wudao frowned. Could it be? Even Lin Xian was surprised. The Phoenix was very arrogant. He wondered what kind of person could make her show such an expression. Even Yunfei, who had always been carefree, seemed to have lost his carefree expression. It looked like the Violet Palace realm was truly terrifying. Outside the Purple Mansion, countless people were still waiting. They were discussing and speculating. Suddenly, the formation in front of them split open, and the people who had entered earlier walked out again. He was out, many people exclaimed. Even the other members of the clan of the ancients stepped forward. What do you think? Someone asked. However, the people who went inside and shook their heads. They didn't say anything. Everyone became even more anxious. What exactly was inside? On the Wind clan's side, Feng Yu and the others also quickly arrived and asked, Sister Wind Phoenix, what exactly is inside? Phoenix sighed. He didn't say anything. Moon Breeze looked at Yi Wudao and Lin Xian. Lin Xian shrugged, and Leaf Dowdenier remained silent. This made everyone even more curious. Let's go. Wind Phoenix prepared to leave. At that moment, a figure flew over and stared at Leaf Dowdenier. He had heard of the sacred body of the ancients for a long time. He wanted to see it for himself today. As soon as the voice was heard, countless people were in an uproar. They stopped asking about the Purple Mansion and looked up. Who is challenging Leaf Dowdenier? They saw the figure in the sky shining with light. They were all stunned. Light. 2 people with the sacred body of the ancients. Are the sacred body and the light body going to fight? Lin Xian was surprised and frowned slightly. Light's speed was terrifying. He was a very powerful enemy. Leaf Dowdenier turned around and swept away the silence from before. He said loudly, As you wish. The 2 of them rose into the air and arrived above the 9 heavens. There was a roar. Leaf Dowdenier threw a punch. The fist of light swept across the 9 heavens. This punch could destroy everything. However, he only hit an afterimage. Light's speed was too fast. In an instant, he was behind Leaf Dowdenier. He threw out a palm. A deafening sound came from Leaf Dowdenier's body. He turned around and threw another punch, hitting another afterimage. It's useless. You can't compare to my speed. Light was like a bolt of lightning. He displayed his extreme speed. Everyone went crazy. They couldn't see him. They couldn't see him. Phoenix was shocked. Sheng Tianzi frowned. Jin Wu Hao and the others looked even more serious. It was obvious that this extreme speed was a great threat to them. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. He looked up to the 9 heavens. The entire sky was under his control. He saw a person who was very fast. If he were to compete with him, he would never compete with him in speed. If he couldn't beat him, he would use other methods to kill him. He thought that Leaf Dowdenier should be the same. Leaf Dowdenier snorted. So what if you're fast? You can't break my defense. The sacred body of the ancients was an extremely famous physique in the starry sky. It was unparalleled in strength and defense. There was no way to hurt Leaf Dowdenier without some heaven-defying means. Sure enough, everyone saw Leaf Dowdenier standing there, punching in all directions. Every time he punched, a sound came from his body. There were flames dancing. It was Light's attack hitting Leaf Dowdenier. Leaf Dowdenier's body didn't even shake. One could imagine how terrifying it was. One had extreme speed, and the other had unparalleled physique. Both of them had reached the pinnacle of their respective cultivation levels. Neither could do anything to the other. It seemed that he had to use some means. If one attack couldn't break through, then he would use 10 million attacks. Light took a step forward. An even more terrifying aura appeared on his body. He attacked 10 million times in an instant. It was too fast. It was done in the blink of an eye. Leaf Dowdenier also felt that he was going to die. He opened and closed his palms. With a roar, the purple aura on his body bloomed and turned into a god of war. He threw a punch. With a boom, the sky fell and the earth cracked. Hundreds of millions of attacks were scattered. The purple figure roared at the sky, the Jiuqian Divine King. Countless people were shocked. It was a natural phenomenon that came with the bloodline of the sacred body. Light's face was cold. He didn't attack again. He looked at the Jiuqian Divine King with flickering eyes. Then he smiled and said, "The sacred body of the ancients lives up to its name. I'll have a taste of it in the future." He turned into a flash of light and disappeared. The others were also amazed. Indeed, at the moment, both sides were evenly matched. There was no need to continue the fight. Leaf Dowdenier put away the Jiuqian Divine King and returned to the Saint Island. Although it was only a short fight, the strength of the two sacred bodies of the ancients was enough to shock countless people. How could they compete with their peers? The seniors in the late stage of the Saint King realm would probably feel numb. Such people were the true geniuses of the world. Jin Wu Hao, Sheng Tianzi, and the others felt a strong threat. However, they weren't afraid. Although they didn't have the sacred body of the ancients, they had infinite confidence in their own strength. I can't help but want to attack. Lin Xian's eyes were also shining. He stared at Jin Wu Hao in the distance. Jin Wu Hao's face was cold. "Damn kid, you still dare to challenge me? Just you wait. I'll make you fall." Jin Wu Hao didn't attack again. He didn't want to embarrass himself. He wouldn't act rashly before he figured out the identity of his opponent. Chapter 46:34. The others also left one after another. Phoenix boarded the island and said, "Let's go." Lin Xian didn't go up, but said, "I have other things to do, so I won't go back." Lin Xian wouldn't go back because of Phoenix's attitude towards him. Phoenix also frowned. Lin Gongzi was still angry because of the previous matter. Lin Xian said. He wasn't angry. It was just that their paths were different, and they couldn't work together. After saying that, Lin Xian left. The surrounding people were stunned, but Phoenix's face became incomparably cold. No one had ever dared to refuse her, but this brat dared to not give her face in front of everyone. A cold, killing intent appeared in her eyes. This brat didn't know what was good for him. The other people of the Wind clan also snorted, but they waved their hands and stopped these people. At present, Yi Wudao was still here, so they couldn't comment on his friend. However, if they had the chance, they would teach this person a good lesson. They wanted to let the other party know that their Wind clan couldn't be provoked. Lin Xian left the Purple Mansion and flew towards the distance. Taiqing Ancient City was very vast, so he prepared to find a place to stay temporarily. Along the way, Lin Xian felt that this place was relatively quiet. There were many courtyards below, so he prepared to go down and ask. However, at this time, a terrifying aura came from behind. Lin Xian's pupils shrank, and he instantly dodged. A terrifying force smashed the place where he was originally standing into smithereens. Lin Xian shouted coldly. A figure appeared, surrounded by a powerful storm. He didn't say anything, but waved his hand. A terrifying wind turned into a giant dragon and rushed towards Lin Xian. A total of thousands of giant dragons tore the sky apart. The terrifying power made people despair. Lin Xian's face suddenly became gloomy. The power of wind was so terrifying. Could it be the people of the Wind clan? These people actually wanted to kill him. Thinking of this, his face became incomparably cold. Boom! His palms formed a seal, and the immemorial demon mountain fell from the sky, shattering everything. It suppressed all the wind dragons. At the same time, Lin Xian charged over. Terrifying sword qi bloomed from his body, slashing forward like a sky full of stars. The void in front of him continued to shatter. The figure turned into a wind god and created a storm in the sky. Fight against it. The collision between the two shook the heavens and earth. However, Lin Xian coldly shouted, and the man-ruler's seal tore everything apart. At the same time, his swordsmanship became even sharper. The 10 absolute swords flew out, and 10 types of laws danced between heaven and earth. The storm and great Tao that the figure had unleashed were all shattered. He was about to be cleaved apart by the sword. However, in the next moment, his speed suddenly exploded, reaching the extreme. It disappeared. Lin Xian was astonished. Had it merged with the wind? He directly examined it. In the next moment, he felt the void behind him split open and a palm landed on his body. With a boom, he was sent flying. However, it did not break through his defense. Lin Xian abruptly turned around and slashed out with his sword. The terrifying sword qi cleaved heaven and earth in half. However, the figure disappeared again. This speed had surpassed that of the Wind clan. Lin Xian frowned tightly. Could it be someone from the Light clan? Lin Xian felt that Guangming was the only one with such speed. Was it Guangming? An extremely terrifying radiance burst out from his eyes. Sure enough, the other party's speed had increased by more than 10 times. He could not see the other party's figure at all. He could only let the attacks fall on Lin Xian. Lin Xian's divine body was fully activated. His physique was not weaker than Yi Wudao's saint body, so his defense was even stronger. Not only that, he was passively being beaten. He formed a seal with his palms, and the taiji was swept out by him. It rotated in the sky, and the black and white sword qi kept slashing down. At the same time, the heavenly secret divine eyes locked onto the other party. Found you. Lin Xian's speed suddenly exploded, and he punched out. The other party's hands condensed, forming a terrifying electric light. The two collided, and the sky fell, and the earth cracked. Then he quickly retreated and disappeared again. "Who the hell are you?" Lin Xian roared. He found that the other party's speed was very fast, but it seemed to be a little slower than the real Guangming. If this person was not Guangming, then who was it? This person was too mysterious. First, he used the Wind Clan's divine ability, and now he used the Light Clan's divine ability. Was there such a terrifying existence in the world? These two were both from the clan of the ancients. Could it be? He thought of the Z Mansion, a person who knew two types of divine abilities from the clan of the ancients. In the world, perhaps only someone from the Z Mansion could do it. Was someone from the Z Mansion trying to kill him? Why? Was it because of his identity? One had to know that he was the person who was sealed by the Hurricane Lily and was abandoned by the immortals. The Z Mansion had the Hurricane Lily as a totem, and it was very likely that they were the ones who sealed him behind the scenes. Now, they might have discovered him and come to suppress him, but when he thought about it, he felt that something was wrong. If the Z Mansion had really discovered him, they would not have sent a Saint King, at least a great saint. Thinking of this, he no longer hid, and a terrifying aura burst out from his eyes. Then his body moved like a dragon as he charged forward. He formed a seal with his palms, and it was as if a god had descended. The human ruler's seal was full of momentum, and the heaven and earth in front of him were instantly destroyed. The hazy figure was also shocked. It seemed that he did not expect Lin Xian to be so powerful. He quickly used his speed to dodge the attacks. He dodged the human ruler's seal. 9 human ruler's seals in a row shattered the heaven and earth. The figure seemed to be unable to resist and directly tore the void and disappeared. "Where do you think you're going?" Lin Xian shouted coldly and used the unparalleled sword and slashed down. The sword chi spanned over 1,000,000 miles, and the entire sky was sliced into two. The surrounding saints and martial artists below all looked up. Who was fighting? What a terrifying sword chi. Was another top battle erupting? Let's go. Many people rose into the sky. The heaven and earth were full of cracks, and the figure had disappeared. Lin Xian's face was cold. He had let the other party escape. At the same time, he felt that many people around him were flying over, and some were even investigating. "Get out of here!" A cold shout spread in all directions like thunder, and the sword chi swept out. Some of the death sword chi even spread to the sky. The surrounding people wanted to get close, but they were sent flying by the sword chi. Some people were so scared that their scalps went numb. Run. It's too terrifying. They did not know who it was that was so terrifying. Was it one of the top figures who had entered the Purple Mansion realm? After the surrounding experts were sent flying, Lin Xian's figure flashed, and he was ready to leave. He did not look good. After all, he might be targeted by the Purple Mansion realm. Not long after he left, there was a flash of light below. At the same time, a demonic beast rose into the sky with a few figures standing on it, and they flew toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian frowned again. Were there more people coming? A fierce look appeared in his eyes. The demonic beast behind him roared, and it seemed to be incomparably frightened. The person on the back of the demonic beast said, "Is that Lin Gongzi?" Chapter 46:35. Lin Xian was stunned. He didn't attack again. Instead, he asked, "Who are you?" There was still a hint of vigilance in his eyes. In front of him, a divine eagle was flying quickly. There were 3 figures standing on it. Standing at the front was a woman wearing a thunder robe. She was holding a token and a picture scroll in her hand. She asked, "May I ask if you are Lin Xian, Lin Gongzi?" Lin Xian was surprised. "Who are you?" "Someone knows me?" The woman in the green robe smiled and said, "Great, it's really you." "Lin Gongzi, my name is Lu Yu. We are from the Heavenly Thunder Palace. We have a cooperation with the Mountain Sea Palace. This time, Elder Watchen asked us to come and find you." Hearing this, Lin Xian also breathed a sigh of relief. So that was it. As a beast tamer, the Mountain Sea Palace cooperated with many sections. The Heavenly Thunder Palace was one of them, and the Heavenly Thunder Palace was in Taiching Ancient City. It must be Elder Ruochen and Elder Zhang who were worried about Lin Xian's safety. They asked the Heavenly Thunder Palace to take care of him. Lin Gongzi, please come back with me. We will definitely welcome you. Lu Yu smiled and said. Lin Xian nodded. Then he would have to trouble them. Anyway, he had nowhere to go now. He could go to the Heavenly Thunder Palace. Maybe he could ask them to help him find some information. Lin Xian stepped on the Divine Eagle. The Divine Eagle almost fell. Lu Yu and the others were shocked. What was going on? They were confused. Lin Xian came back to his senses and retracted the aura on his body. When he was fighting with the mysterious person, he still had a terrifying, murderous intent and the power of the great dragon sword soul. This Divine Eagle couldn't bear it. Sure enough, when he withdrew his power, the Divine Eagle became quiet. Then the Divine Eagle spread its wings and flew. Lin Xian and Lu Yu left the sky and arrived at the Heavenly Thunder Palace. The Heavenly Thunder Palace was a big force in Taiching Ancient City. Of course, it was not the top. The most powerful family in Taiching Ancient City was the clan of the Ancients. In addition, there were also some great sects that could compete with the clan of the Ancients. For example, the Violet Palace realm was one of them. There was also the Golden Crow race, an extremely terrifying ancient race. They could also contend against it. These were the forces that had become the first tier. The Heavenly Thunder Palace belonged to the second tier. However, it was equally terrifying. After arriving, Lu Yu personally received Lin Xian and arranged a quiet courtyard for him. She also gave him some resources. This was all requested by Lin Xian. Lin Gongzi, you should rest today. I'll come back tomorrow. Lu Yu left with her men. Lin Xian let out a breath of relief. He should be able to avoid the assassination of the Violet Palace Hall for now. Forming a seal with his palms, he slowly began to cultivate. The next day, Lu Yu came again. He brought Lin Xian to meet some elders and held a banquet to invite Lin Xian. After all, Lin Xian was recommended by the Mountain Sea Palace, so he was naturally valued. Of course, not everyone admired Lin Xian. For example, the younger generation. There were even some young sages who gritted their teeth at Lin Xian. Why should they treat this guy with respect? As geniuses, they were all arrogant and unruly. Now, Lin Xian was in the same generation as them, but they respected a young man like he was an elder. Those geniuses were naturally unwilling. However, in front of the elders, they did not dare to show it. After returning, Lin Xian stayed here. He asked Lu Yu to help him inquire about information. Firstly, he wanted to inquire about the ancient heavenly court and see if there were any spirit herbs that could extend one's lifespan. He continued to cultivate the heavenly secret divine eye. At this moment, he had already finished cultivating the 13th painting of the heavenly secret diagram. His eye technique had become stronger than before. He was preparing to comprehend the 14th painting. Lu Yu also did her best to help Lin Xian inquire about information. However, spirit herbs that could increase one's lifespan were too precious. She could not find any in a short time. As for the other piece of news, she found out about it. Lin Gongzi, there's news about the ancient heavenly court. When this was said, Lin Xian was surprised. Oh, what news? Lu Yu said that there was a change in the ancient heavenly court. It seemed that something incredible had happened. A mysterious aura appeared, causing many people to be shocked. Indeed, there was no need for Lu Yu to specifically inquire about the news. At this moment, the news had already spread everywhere. The ancient heavenly court was in primordial ancient city. It was very dangerous there. Usually, only a few people were willing to take the risk to explore it. However, in the past few days, the number of people had suddenly increased. This was because a phenomenon of heaven and earth had appeared in the ruins of the ancient heavenly court, shocking everyone. In addition, the reactivation of the Purple Mansion was shocking. Everyone guessed that the ancient heavenly court had not been completely destroyed back then. Perhaps there was a possibility of it being reactivated. In an instant, the situation in primordial ancient city changed. Countless gazes gathered on the ancient heavenly court. All kinds of news were flying quickly. After Lin Xian received the news, he was also surprised. He had just investigated the ancient heavenly court, and such a terrifying change had already happened. It was really shocking. Not only the Heavenly Thunder Palace, but the other peerless sects and clan of the ancients were also investigating. Then, they were shocked. More and more powerhouses gathered there. At the same time, a figure appeared in the ruins of the ancient heavenly court. It was a mysterious person wearing a black robe. His face could not be seen clearly. However, the aura on his body was incomparably terrifying. He floated there, looking at the ruins in front of him, and said in a low voice, "I'm finally back." A few streams of light streaked across the sky. A powerful holy light aura suppressed everything and fell down. The black-robed person's figure flickered, turned into a black mist, and disappeared. In the next moment, a few sage kings arrived. None of them said, "If there was someone here just now." Another old man smiled and said, he had been too nervous recently, and his eyes must have been blurry. There was no one here. The middle-aged man from before was worried and carefully investigated. Indeed, he did not find any aura. He shook his head. "Maybe I saw wrongly. Quickly go and investigate." These were all powerhouses of the peerless sections. At this moment, they were here to investigate the changes in the ancient heavenly court. On the other side, the Heavenly Thunder Palace was also discussing quickly. Lu Yu came to look for Lin Xian. "Young master, we've decided to go. Do you want to go together?" After Lin Xian heard this, he nodded. He had long wanted to go. It seemed that he had collected enough information. This time, Lu Yu led the team. She gathered a few old men and young disciples. In addition to Lin Xian, there were not many people in the team. They were all elites. Lu Yu was also a genius of the Heavenly Thunder Palace. At this moment, the chariot they were riding was driven by demonic beasts. It quickly rose into the sky. In the ruins of the heavenly court, although it had been reduced to ruins, it was still very vast. Moreover, there were rumors that this was only a part of it. As a clan of the ancients and a peerless sect, they all had their own independent spaces and secret realms. Therefore, although it looked small from the outside, it was very likely that there was a world inside. As an existence that surpassed the clan of the ancients, the heavenly court naturally had such a space world. Therefore, this time, after those powerhouses arrived, they wanted to break through the ruins to find the entrance to the space world. Chapter 46:36. At this moment, the ruins of the heavenly courts were extremely lively. There were people everywhere. Fortunately, the ruins were relatively vast. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to walk anymore. In the sky, 3 divine eagles pulled a few war chariots and flew quickly. There were lightning and great dows surrounding them. They were the Sky Thunder Palace's team. Lin Xian sat in the war chariot with Lu Yu beside him. The two of them were chatting. At this moment, another war chariot flew over from another direction and blocked their path. What was going on? Lu Yu frowned. The guard outside said, "Princess, it's the 8th young master's war chariot. The 8th young master is naturally from the Sky Thunder Palace, but why is he blocking the war chariot?" Lu Yu frowned and walked out. "Lei Ao, what are you trying to do?" A tall man walked out from the war chariot opposite. He was wearing a thunder battle armor that surrounded the 9 heavens. He smiled and said, Lu Yu, don't tell me you still brought that kid with you? You mean Lin Gongzi? Lu Yu frowned. Lei Ao said that he was giving the Mountain Sea Palace face by welcoming that kid. However, I won't give him face. Now that I've seen him today, I want to see how powerful he is to deserve your respect. In my opinion, he's just a facade and doesn't have much strength. Lu Yu's face darkened. This has nothing to do with you? If you don't want to see Lin Gongzi, then go away. No one asked you to come. As for Lin Gongzi, he's not someone you can touch. Lin Xian sat in the war chariot and heard the voices outside. He was unmoved. In these sects, it was very common for geniuses to compete with each other. This Lei Ao was also a genius, but in front of him, he was nothing. He wouldn't be a match for him at all. Therefore, Lin Xian had no intention of going out. Outside, Lei Ao snorted coldly. Did you see that? I've already said so, but he doesn't come out. It's obvious that he doesn't dare to. You're definitely going to lose this time with him. Do you know that I've invited people from the Pill Cauldron sect this time? If we join forces, we're definitely not someone you can compare to. The surrounding guards sucked in a breath of cold air. The Pill Cauldron School was a first-tier sect. It was much more powerful than the Sky Thunder Palace. He did not expect Lei Ao to have the ability to befriend someone from the Pill Cauldron sect. Lei Ao laughed out loud. Just wait for your failure. After saying that, he returned to the war chariot and quickly left. Lu Yu humphed coldly. What an arrogant fellow. Ignore him. Let's continue. The group continued to fly. A day later, they descended. However, as soon as she landed, she heard the guard outside say, "Princess, there is the 8th young master's chariot not far away." Lu Yu furrowed her brows. This guy was really persistent. He snorted coldly and walked out. What was 8th brother trying to do? In front, Lei Ao was no longer as arrogant as before. Instead, he was following beside a man, respectfully. That man wore an alchemy robe, and behind him was a cauldron with a burning divine flame. They were from the Pill Cauldron School. Hulian looked around. Lei Ao and a few other people had come because of the fame. This made him feel like he was in control of the world. Although he wasn't considered to be at the top of the Pill Cauldron sect, he was still as high and mighty as a god in front of these sections. At this moment, Lu Yu came down and asked coldly, "Lei Ao, what do you want?" Lei Ao turned around and sneered coldly. Hulian turned around and looked at the other party. He was surprised. Who was this person? His eyes lit up. Hearing this, Lei Ao smiled and said, "This is a disciple of the Sky Thunder Palace. Her name is Lu Yu. I'll call her over now." After saying that, he turned around and said, "Lu Yu, greet Prince Hulian." Prince Hulian was from the Pill Cauldron sect. Lu Yu was initially furious. However, when she saw the alchemy robe on Hulian, her expression changed. She quickly walked up and cupped her fists. "Greetings, Prince Hulian." She had no choice, as the strength of the Pill Cauldron sect was too terrifying. Hulian nodded and said, "Is Fairy Lu alone?" Lu Yu said that there was a friend in the war chariot who had not come down. When she said that, Lei Ao frowned. It was that guy. That guy was too arrogant. He was still in the war chariot after seeing Prince Hulian. "I'll throw him over." Lei Ao, "Don't go overboard." Lu Yu frowned. Hulian smiled. "It's okay. Maybe he doesn't know what kind of existence the Pill Cauldron sect is. Fairy Lu, it's so dangerous here. Why don't we travel together?" Lu Yu hesitated and wanted to reject. However, Lei Ao said, "What are you thinking? This is a great honor for you. Hurry up and agree." "I think Fairy Lu won't reject." A cold light appeared in Hulian's eyes. Suddenly, the surrounding aura became terrifying. The cultivation of a middle-stage Saint King spread in all directions. Lu Yu felt immense pressure. She was only an early-stage Saint King. Although she was very close to the middle stage Saint King, she could not cross that threshold. However, if she couldn't take that step, the gap between her and the other party would be like the difference between heaven and earth. I know. I'll tell Lin Gongzi. Lu Yu nodded and turned to the side of the war chariot. Master, there are a few friends who want to go with us. Lin Xian said, All right. He also walked down. Hua Lian looked at him and then retracted his gaze. He was unfamiliar with him, and he did not feel any terrifying aura from him. Hua Lian had just come out of seclusion. Hence, he had only heard about the incident in the Purple Mansion and did not see it with his own eyes. Hence, he did not know Lin Xian. Otherwise, he definitely wouldn't be standing there so arrogantly. Let's go. Hua Lian waved his hand and led the group away. During this period, they had encountered many terrifying attacks. Hua Lian took out a furnace and suppressed the surroundings, blocking all dangers. Lei Ao said from the side, Master Hua Lian's strength is getting stronger. We are ashamed of our inferiority. Lu Yu was also surprised. Hua Lian smiled and said, It's nothing. Compared to my brother, I'm still lacking. My brother can follow Lord Jiangchun to the Purple Mansion. I'm still lacking compared to him. Oh, right, my brother seems to be nearby. I'll bring you to see him. Really? That's great. Lei Ao and the rest were overjoyed. Those who could follow Jiangchun to the Purple Mansion were definitely the top geniuses of the Pill Cauldron sect. If they could befriend such a person, they would definitely benefit immensely. Lin Xian was also surprised. If he remembered correctly, there was an expert from the Pill Cauldron sect called Jiang Chun who had entered the Purple Mansion with him. At that time, he had sensed the terrifying flame aura on his body. Moreover, he should be an alchemist from the Pill Cauldron sect. An alchemist should know more about spiritual herbs than other sections. Perhaps he could find out about the spiritual herbs that could prolong his life from him. Lin Xian decided that he would make a trip to the Pill Cauldron sect after the matters in the Heavenly Court were over. At the same time, there was a huge battle happening in front of them. There were a few people in pill robes standing there. Surrounding them was a group of men in black armor with cold expressions. They had smiles on their faces. Chapter 46-37. The people in the red robes were probably from the Pill Cauldron School. The leader of the group had a pale face and was injured. Damn it, Serene Cloud Sect, you're too arrogant. Hui Yuan, you can only blame yourself for being reckless. As long as you hand over what you just obtained, we'll give you a quick death. Otherwise, you'll know what it means to live a life worse than death. The Serene Cloud Sect's expert sneered. Hui Yuan gritted his teeth and said, Listen up, we'll escape later. The person beside him said. The Pill Cauldron Sect's experts nodded as well. Unparalleled flames erupted from their bodies. On the other side, Yulong walked out, his eyes shining with a cold light. Do you think you can escape with just the two of you? Attack. With a wave of his hand, the people around him moved quickly. A terrifying cold law swept through the 9 heavens. Not good. Hui Yuan roared and threw out a furnace to attack Yulong. At the same time, the others moved as well. The battle erupted again. Serene Cloud Sect was a top existence that was not weaker than Pill Cauldron Sect. Moreover, they had twice the number of people. Therefore, Hui Yuan and the others were in danger. Before long, their injuries became more serious. Hui Yuan was hit by a blade and retreated. One of his arms was missing. He gritted his teeth and formed an arm again. His expression was ugly. A look of despair appeared in his eyes. Damn it, if only Jiangchun was here. He would definitely be able to defeat these people. But it was a pity. On the other side, Hua Lian led the group and flew into the distance. She said, My brother is just ahead. Not long after she said that, they saw a battle ahead. It was Pill Cauldron Sect. Hu Lian's expression changed. The surrounding people were also shocked. Was someone attacking Pill Cauldron Sect? Not good. That's my brother. Hu Lian's eyes turned red instantly. She realized that her brother was covered in blood. The situation was very strange. The people from Sky Thunder Palace were also terrified. Who dared to attack Pill Cauldron Sect? Did they not want to live anymore? Hu Lian's eyes were red. He rushed forward and roared, "How dare you attack my Pill Cauldron Sect? Do you want to die?" His cold voice spread in all directions. The battle ahead stopped, and many people looked over. The void around Hu Lian kept shattering. Feeling the cold killing intent, Hu Lian's scalp went numb. Serene Cloud Sect's people sneered. More people came. "Just nice. I'll send you all to hell together." Yulong walked out, and the people from the Tranquil Cloud Sect sneered as well. Hui Yuan's expression changed. It would be great if other people came to help, but Hu Lian, his trash of a younger brother, coming here would only be sending him to his death. "Who allowed you to come? Hurry up and get lost." Hui Yuan roared. When Hu Lian discovered that it was the Tranquil Cloud Sect, his complexion also became pale. The Pill Cauldron School wasn't any weaker than them. Moreover, the other side had twice the number of people. Even if he brought the people of the Sky Thunder Palace here, what use would it be? No, he had to retreat quickly and report this to the sect. He wanted to leave. The people of the Cloud Sect had already surrounded them and sealed the world. "Do you want to leave? Let's all go to hell together today." Hu Lian's expression turned ugly. Lei Ao and the rest were even more terrified. Lei Ao said, "It has nothing to do with me. I am from the Sky Thunder Palace. Let us go." He didn't want to die with them. Hu Lian was about to go crazy from anger. This guy had been so respectful before. Now that there was danger, he actually wanted to run for his life. Damn it! He looked coldly at Lei Ao, but Lei Ao ignored him. Now that these people were going to die, why would he be respectful? In front, Yulong sneered. "Sky Thunder Palace, do you have the right to talk to me? Killing you is no different from killing an ant." Lei Meng was in despair. Lu Yun also snorted. "You have no backbone. You are not worthy of being a disciple of the Sky Thunder Palace." Lei Ao roared. "You have backbone? Aren't you afraid of death?" In front of survival, everything was nothing. He had already made up his mind. He would definitely kneel down and beg for mercy later. He would give up everything, and even reveal some of the secrets of the Sky Thunder Palace. It was all to save his life. Everyone was in despair. Lu Yu and the rest felt that they had to fight for their lives. Hui Yuan was also in despair. Hu Lian was even more terrified. Although he didn't beg for mercy, he didn't dare to resist. At this moment, Hui Yuan was stunned because he saw a familiar figure in the Sky Thunder Palace. "It's him." Hui Yuan was shocked and then overjoyed. If this person helped them, they would be saved. "Young master, it's you. Sir, please help us. We will be grateful." Hui Yuan quickly bowed in the direction of the Sky Thunder Palace. His voice could be heard. The surrounding people were all stunned. What's going on? Is Hui Yuan asking the Sky Thunder Palace for help again? Yu Yan also sneered. "I think you really are at death's door, turning into an idiot." The Sky Thunder Palace was no different from an ant in front of them. The people of the Sky Thunder Palace were also stunned. Lu Yuan and the rest were stunned. What's going on? Lei Ao was dumbfounded. He could save the other party? What kind of joke is this? He didn't want to die. In his opinion, this guy must be trying to shift the battle to them. Hu Lian was even more confused. Was his brother so desperate that he couldn't think straight? But at this moment, a calm voice could be heard. "Do you know me?" Hearing this, everyone turned around and stared at Lin Xian. Lu Yu and the rest were shocked. Lei Ao snorted. "Kid, do you want to die? Who do you think you are? Do you think the other party is asking you for help?" Hu Lian was also angry. This guy still wants to save his brother? What kind of joke is this? Dream on. The other party is probably an ant, but what made them dumbfounded was that Hui Yuan flew over and said respectfully, "Yes, I know the young master. I followed Lord Jiangchen to the Purple Mansion and saw the young master once. What's going on?" Everyone was stunned as if they had been struck by lightning. Is he really asking Lin Xian for help? Even the people of the Serene Cloud sect were stunned. Are these people crazy? Who is that unfamiliar young man? Hulian was stunned. Brother, you're asking an ant for help? He couldn't believe it either. Hui Yuan was furious when he heard this. He slapped Hulian's face and sent his brother flying. How dare you call Lin Gongzi an ant? Kneel down now. Hulian cried. Brother, why did you hit me? Hui Yuan said, not only will I hit you, I'll kill you. Lin Gongzi is a top genius, a supreme existence who entered the Purple Mansion with Lord Jiangchen. How dare you offend such a person? Do you believe that I won't cripple you now? As soon as these words came out, everyone was stunned. This unfamiliar young man was an existence that wasn't inferior to Jiangchen. Lu Yu and the rest were shocked, but Lei Ao was terrified and dumbfounded. Hulian was trembling in fear. What was going on? The ant that he had always looked down on actually had such a supreme identity. Chapter 46:38. With a loud bang, he knelt down. Lin Gongzi, I was wrong. He was so frightened that he couldn't speak. Hui Yuan took a deep breath. My brother is too useless. I will punish him and give young master a satisfactory answer. Young master, please save us. Pill Cauldron sect will be grateful. Yes, young master, please. Hulian kept saying. Then he jumped up and pointed at Lei Ao. It's all because of this guy. He misled me. He grabbed Lei Ao and slapped him nonstop. Lei Ao's face turned into a pig's head. Hulian roared. You stupid thing. You almost made me offend young master. Die. Lei Ao's teeth were all knocked out. He regretted it now. He didn't know that Lin Fan was so powerful that it was scary. He cried and said, I didn't know either. Please spare my life. Spare your life? Then who will spare my life? Hulian gritted his teeth. If he didn't give Lin Xian a satisfactory answer, he would be killed by his brother. So he had to attack crazily. With one attack, he turned Lei Ao's arms into a bloody mist. At the same time, he kept attacking. Lei Ao's bones were all broken. He fell to the ground and begged for mercy. Please spare me. Hulian looked at Lin Xian. In the end, Lin Xian closed his eyes and rested. Hulian looked at his brother. Hui Yuan said, Trash, get lost. He slapped his brother away. Hui Yuan walked up. You don't know what's good for you. How dare you offend Lin Gongzi? Go to hell. He took out the cauldron and destroyed Lei Ao's body and soul. There were some Sky Thunder Palace experts beside Lei Ao. When they saw this, they roared crazily. Punishing Lei Ao and killing Lei Ao were two different concepts. If Lei Ao died, how were they going to explain it? These people's eyes were all red. Hui Yuan said coldly, Why, do you want to fight me? They lowered their heads and didn't dare to. Hui Yuan snorted coldly. Go back and tell your Sky Thunder Palace elders that I killed him. If they are unhappy, come and find me. After that, Hui Yuan attacked Hulian and beat Hulian up even more badly than Lei Ao. However, he didn't kill him. After all, he was his younger brother. He asked if young master was satisfied. Hulian was also crying. He was really afraid that his brother would kill him. Lin Xian felt that it was about time. He had already punished those who needed to be punished. As for the Pill Cauldron sect, he really needed them, because he wanted to cooperate with the other party. So he opened his eyes. Help you? It was not impossible. Hearing this, Hui Yuan heaved a sigh of relief. That was great. Since the other party had said so, it meant that the other party had already decided to help them. Hu Lian's life was saved. He kept kowtowing, thanking the young master for sparing his life. Lin Xian glanced at the people in the distance and said, "The Tranquil Cloud sect was an existence that was not weaker than the Pill Cauldron sect. Now that I've made a move, I'll be offending such a top sect for no reason. It won't do me any good." Hui Yuan took a deep breath and said, "Of course I know. Young master has helped us. The Pill Cauldron sect is extremely grateful. We'll definitely give you a generous gift." Seeing that Lin Xian didn't say anything, Hui Yuan gritted his teeth and took out an old pill bottle from his storage ring. "This is what I got from the ruins. It's also the reason why I'm being chased. There's half a pill in here. It should have been left behind by the ancient heavenly court. Now, I'm giving it to young master. I swear on my life, young master, save my life. I'll definitely thank you. My grandfather is a core elder. He'll definitely keep his word." Pill. Lin Xian was shocked. Was it left behind by the heavenly court? Did they still have it? On the other side, the people from the Tranquil Cloud sect who had been watching the show all this while had darkened their faces when they saw the pill. The leader said coldly, "Kid, you better think carefully. Taking the pill means going against us. You'll end up in a terrible state." Although Hui Yuan had said that Lin Xian had entered the Violet Palace, who knew that he hadn't sensed any terrifying aura from Lin Xian. In his opinion, Hui Yuan might be deliberately mystifying things. Hearing this, Lin Xian waved his hand and took the pill bottle. He said, "I hate it when people threaten me, so I'll take care of this matter. I'll protect these people." He walked up. He looked at the people from the Tranquil Cloud sect. "As for you guys, kneel on the ground obediently and kowtow. Perhaps I'll spare your lives." "Great." Hui Yuan heaved a sigh of relief. He saw hope. If Lin Xian were to make a move, he would definitely be able to sweep this matter clean. On the other side, the people from the Tranquil Cloud sect were enraged. "You're courting death. Is he challenging us?" Hui Yuan snorted coldly. "I want to see what kind of strength you have to take care of this matter. What? You want to resist? Since that's the case, I'm afraid you'll be in despair." Lin Xian stretched out his hand. A terrifying law spread out. His aura also spread out. The people around looked as if they were facing a great enemy. The people from the Tranquil Cloud sect were stunned. Early stage Saint King. "I think you're crazy. Are you trying to scare me with an early stage Saint King?" The people from the Pill Cauldron sect were also stunned. Lin Xian's cultivation was much weaker than theirs. Such a person was really qualified to enter the Violet Palace. However, Hui Yuan's gaze was firm. So what if he's an early stage Saint King? He had seen Lin Xian defeat a peerless expert like Jin Wu Hao with his own eyes. It wasn't something that could be judged by cultivation. Yu Lung's face darkened. A black saber appeared in his hand, and he walked forward. "Go to hell." With a slash of his saber, heaven and earth shattered. This saber made everyone feel despair. No wonder Hui Yuan and the others were defeated. This Yu Long was even more terrifying. Looking at this shocking saber, Lin Xian didn't dodge at all. Instead, he charged forward. The people around were stunned, especially the people from the Tranquil Cloud sect. They sneered. Lin Xian dared to block this black saber with his bare hands? One had to know that this was a top expert. Moreover, this saber was enough to cut through everything. Even a middle stage Saint King wouldn't dare to block it. How stupid! Yu Lung snorted when he saw this. In the next moment, he increased his speed. He turned into a black bolt of lightning and struck Lin Xian's body. An earth-shattering sound rang out. However, everyone was dumbfounded. This saber didn't split Lin Xian's palm. There wasn't even a crack. Lin Xian's hand was like the palm of a god, sweeping across the air. Then he grabbed the black saber. With a loud boom, the black saber was broken into two halves by the impact of the collision. What? The people from the Tranquil Cloud sect were dumbfounded. On the other hand, the people from the Pill Cauldron sect were also dumbfounded. What kind of power was this? Wasn't his physique too strong? Impossible? Yulong roared. It was as if he had seen the most terrifying thing. Lin Xian raised his head and looked at him. He said indifferently, "I said that if you fight with me, you'll regret it." As he spoke, he slapped out again. Chapter 46:39. No. Yulong quickly retreated. He no longer dared to underestimate the other party. The other party's strength was simply unimaginable. This was a peerless enemy that he did not dare to contend against. However, this palm enveloped heaven and earth, sealing off all his escape routes. "Damn it, I'll fight it out with you." Yulong roared, the black laws on his body dancing nonstop. His bloodline and laws were burning as he threw a punch at the golden palm. This was the strongest attack he could unleash. At least it could break the other party's seal. However, it was a pity that his strongest attack landed on the golden palm. It made a deafening sound, but it was unable to shake it in the slightest. The black fist shattered, and the golden palm fell. Yulong was beaten into a bloody mist. His soul flew out from the bloody mist, but it was pierced by Lin Xian's gaze. The golden flames burned the other party's soul to ashes. Dead. Everyone was stunned, their hearts filled with fear. That was Yulong. He was the existence that defeated Huiyuan. How terrifying was that? But now, with a single palm, with a single glance, his soul was destroyed. How powerful was the person in front of them? The people of Pill Cauldron sect were stunned. No wonder Huiyuan begged the other party so much. He was simply too powerful. The people of Sky Thunder Palace were even more shocked. The elders that Lei Ao brought were originally unconvinced. Now that they saw this scene, they were terrified and no longer dared to have any thoughts of revenge. Was such a person someone they could contend against? The people of Serene Cloud sect were even more terrified. Their strongest leader had been killed in a single move. Were they still a match? In the next moment, someone walked out and said, "Please forgive us, young master. We were wrong this time. Let's go." Lin Xian said coldly, "Want to leave? Don't you think it's too late? Since we're already enemies, I won't let the tiger return to the mountain." The Yulong he killed was a top genius. Would the Serene Cloud sect let it go after knowing? Since they had already become enemies, he would not show any mercy. On the other side, the people of Serene Cloud sect were enraged after hearing this. "Damn it, you dare. Do you want to be enemies with our Serene Cloud sect? Attack together." The other people also roared crazily and quickly attacked. Someone took out a sacred weapon and charged toward Lin Xian. Someone unleashed a peerless divine ability. Between heaven and earth, it was incomparably terrifying. The surrounding people quickly retreated and looked ahead. With so many people attacking at the same time, no matter how strong a person was, they wouldn't be able to withstand it. However, it was a pity that Lin Xian shuttled through the mystiques and ultimate techniques that filled the sky, taking these attacks head-on. He took a leisurely stroll and did not use his full strength at all. He struck out with his palm and collided with the pagoda of his opponent. With a boom, the pagoda shattered into pieces. Boom. Lin Xian's gaze swept outwards and turned into two streaks of divine light. Three figures screamed miserably as their souls turned into nothingness and fell from the sky. It was so simple and easy. The experts of the Tranquil Cloud sect had all fallen in the blink of an eye. Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back. He turned to look at Huiyuan and said, "They have all died. You are all safe now. Remember what you promised me." Huiyuan was completely stunned. At this moment, When he heard this, he came back to his senses and took a deep breath. Don't worry, young master. I naturally won't forget. Is young master alone? Why don't we travel together? Hui Yuan walked up and smiled respectfully. He knew that Lin Xian used to be with the Wind Clan, but they seemed to have fallen out later on. This was a good opportunity. Pill Cauldron Sect would definitely be happy to be able to rope in such a top expert. That's good too. Lin Xian nodded. He wanted to know more about Pill Cauldron Sect. The group flew into the distance. Hui Yuan and the others quickly swallowed pills to recover from their injuries. Pill Cauldron Sect had nothing but pills. Moreover, they were all top alchemists, so they recovered very quickly. Hui Yuan explained the situation to Lin Xian. It was obvious that the top sects and clans of the remote antiquity were all here. They all wanted to explore the ruins. There was even a rumor that there was a mysterious space here that had not been destroyed. On the other side, dark clouds covered the sky. Countless figures stood on top of them. Suddenly, one of them frowned. With a wave of his hand, he took out a soul token. That soul token was already broken into two. Yu Lung had fallen. His eyes shone with a startling light. At the same time, another elder beside him took out a soul token as well. This time he took out even more. There were at least a dozen of them, and all of them were broken. Not good. I'm afraid one of our teams has fallen. When the others from Serene Cloud Sect heard this, they were in an uproar. Who is it? The evil spirit's eyes shone with a terrifying light. No matter who it is, anyone who dares to lay their hands on Serene Cloud Sect will definitely die. Lin Xian did not know that he had already been targeted by the evil spirit, but even if he knew, so what? There were some things that he was not afraid of. At this moment, they had already arrived at the ruins. Everywhere was broken. Moreover, it was extremely dangerous. Some of the broken swords and sabers could soar into the sky at any time, turning into unparalleled fighting power. Hui Yuan pointed to a place in the distance. That's where I got the pill bottle from before. I'm lucky. If we go further in, it'll be extremely dangerous. There are 7 broken swords standing in 7 different directions. It's extremely terrifying. I even saw a middle-stage Sage King expert trying to go further. In the end, he was sliced into 2. When the surrounding people heard this, they sucked in a cold breath. A broken sword from tens of thousands of years ago was still so powerful. How terrifying would these swords be when they were in perfect condition? At the very least, they were used by great sages. What was the battle like back then? What kind of existence was it? How did it destroy the heavenly court? Lin Xian was also curious. He said that he would go and take a look. His body flashed, and he took the initiative. Hui Yuan and the rest quickly followed. As expected, they encountered many attacks. Some of them were not broken swords or sabers, but fragments of weapons. But it was also quite terrifying. They saw a fragment of a weapon in front of them, piercing through 2 Sage Kings. Therefore, they were on high alert. Next, they also encountered some attacks. These people attacked with all their might, moving forward carefully. Suddenly, the ground split open. It was a broken mirror. There was only a corner, but it was incomparably terrifying. Not good. Lu Yu and the others were enveloped. They felt that they were about to be torn apart. At this moment, a golden figure descended like a god and came in front of them. With a kick, he sent the fragment flying. This saved Lu Yu and the others' lives. Thank you, Lin Gongzi. Lu Yu heaved a sigh of relief. It was too dangerous. If it weren't for Lin Xian, they wouldn't have dared to come to such a place. The others also came and went one after another. They didn't expect that there would be such a powerful person in this team. Lin Xian looked around and found that there were people falling from time to time. It was obvious that they couldn't withstand the attacks of these weapons. He didn't care at all. With a wave of his hand, he left. He led the others and flew forward. After leaving this place, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. However, at this moment, the void in front of them split open, a broken sword slashed through the air. Chapter 4640. Not good. Huiyuan and the rest felt chills down their spines. The power of the broken sword was too terrifying. Lin Xian struck out with the man-ruler seal, pushing the broken sword back. He frowned. The power of the broken sword was beyond his imagination. The broken sword floated in the air, emitting endless sword qi that swept across the area. Lu Yu, Huiyuan, and the rest thanked Lin Xian. That attack was too dangerous. If they were not prepared, they would have been injured. They would all be injured, or even killed. The broken sword was terrifying. Lu Yuan looked around and saw the broken sword. He then took a deep breath. This was one of the 7 top-grade broken swords. Who would have thought that they would encounter it? A broken sword was nothing. It could be suppressed. Lin Xian nodded. Although he could not break the broken sword, it was not a problem to suppress the seal. But at this moment, Huiyuan turned his head and looked into the distance. He cursed, "Not good." They saw a black cloud flying towards them. At the same time, there were 3 broken swords behind the black cloud. They were charging towards them. Everyone was in despair. Damn it, Serene Cloud sect. Lin Xian, retreat. They could not withstand the 4 broken swords. But unfortunately, it was too late. The people of Serene Cloud sect were already nearby. Their bodies gradually dissipated. I heard that you obtained a pill here. You were really lucky, but this time you have used up your luck. Go to hell. A cold voice sounded. The 3 broken swords were already charging towards them. Huiyuan and the rest's faces darkened. Damn it. The 3 broken swords were charging towards them together. This was a scene of death. Retreat. The elders of the Heavenly Thunder Palace also roared. Lin Xian looked at Huiyuan. He said, "You should have no problem suppressing a broken sword with your men." Huiyuan nodded. "If we go all out, it's not a problem. But there are still 3 swords." Indeed, that was what he was most worried about. Lin Xian smiled. "Leave the rest to me." He walked out, his figure like a demon god. Lu Yu and the rest were stunned. Huiyuan said, "Gong Zi, this broken sword is terrifying. Don't take it head-on. Don't worry, leave it to me." Lin Xian soared into the sky, and at the same time sent a palm strike towards the 3 broken swords, enveloping them. He brought them to a place far away. Huiyuan gritted his teeth. "Young master, be careful. We have to suppress this broken sword with all our might." As he spoke, he waved his hand and led his men to attack quickly. Those from the Pill Cauldron School attacked while asking Senior Brother Huiyuan, "Can that brat succeed?" Huiyuan said, "Show some respect to him. He saved our lives." Moreover, this time, he did not mention any conditions and took the initiative to take away the 3 broken swords. This is our benefactor, so we must address him as Lin Gongzi. Understand? We cannot be ungrateful. Senior Brother, you're right. We understand. The surrounding people quickly nodded as well. Huiyuan looked into the distance and said, he hoped that Yi Fuqian was fine. In front of him, the 3 broken swords let out a deafening sound as they tore the golden hand into pieces. Lin Xian stood with his hands clasped behind his back, looking at the 3 broken swords, his eyes shining with a cold light. It had to be said that the heavenly court back then was truly terrifying. The 3 broken swords were now like 3 peerless powerhouses, making him feel a sense of awe. The 3 broken swords separated and enveloped Lin Xian, emitting a terrifying light. Then they turned into lightning and charged towards Lin Xian. Every attack was aimed at Lin Xian's vital points. Each of the 3 broken swords was extremely terrifying and indestructible. When combined and coordinated, they were extremely terrifying. They did not look like three weapons at all, but three peerless powerhouses. Lin Xian waved his fist to fight back. At this moment, a broken sword appeared in front of him, breaking through his fist shadows and charging towards him. Lin Xian raised his hand to block, but he was forced back, his entire arm numb. It was really shocking. If it were any other time, he would definitely study it carefully. However, he could not do so now, as there were powerhouses everywhere searching. Perhaps there would be a new discovery at some point. Therefore, he decided to use some of his trump cards. He formed a seal with his palm. Mountain Embracing Seal. The primordial demon Mountain tore through the void and charged down, pressing towards one of the broken swords and suppressing it. That sword emitted a terrifying light as it resisted. Endless runes appeared on its body, interweaving with the great Tao, forming a sword shadow that slashed towards the primordial demon mountain. It was like a divine sword from the 9 heavens. A sonorous sound was heard, and the primordial demon mountain shook. Lin Xian roared, "Suppress!" On the primordial demon mountain. Endless terrifying light erupted, completely suppressing one of the broken swords. The other 2 broken swords charged towards the primordial demon mountain. Lin Xian waved his hand, and the Taiji diagram appeared in his left hand, enveloping one of the broken swords. With his right hand, he directly attacked and grabbed it. That broken sword was like a giant dragon crazily attacking. Lin Xian roared towards the sky, and the power of the Taiji diagram erupted, sealing it. The other sword was thrown to the ground by Lin Xian. Boom! Boundless sword light flew out from his palm and bombarded the broken sword. Then it sealed the broken sword. On the other side, Hui Yuan and the others also worked together to repel the broken sword. They flew quickly. Lu Yu was anxious. She did not know how Lin Gongzi was doing. Hui Yuan said, hoping that he was fine. With his strength, even if he could not suppress it, it would not be a problem for him to leave safely. Suddenly, they stopped because they felt an extremely terrifying aura around them, as if an earth-shattering battle had happened here. Just this aura alone made Hui Yuan and the others' hair stand on end. What was going on? Could it be that? Lu Yu and the others did not dare to imagine. But at this moment, a voice sounded from behind them. "It seems that you have settled it." Hearing this voice, Lu Yu suddenly turned her head. Tears turned into laughter. "Lin Gongzi, you're fine." "That's great." Hui Yuan also walked up and said, "Our benefactor is mighty." At this moment, a huge aura spread in front of them, and then a terrifying power erupted. Not good. A peak sage king was fighting again. Everyone was shocked and looked up. Many older generation figures had appeared, fighting between heaven and earth. They did not know what they were fighting for. Lin Xian said and followed. He was the first to move, quickly flying into the distance. The battle there was extremely intense. He came nearby to watch. At this moment, a huge hand came down from the sky, sending everything flying. Those peak sage kings also retreated one after another. How terrifying! Everyone was dumbfounded. This power had completely surpassed that of a sage king. A supreme sage had attacked. As expected, the figure of a supreme sage appeared between heaven and earth, and all the sage kings retreated. The great sage's hand reached out and grabbed one of the shattered palaces, as if he were searching for something. In the next moment, he took the broken palace and soared into the sky, wanting to leave. But at this moment, the storm in the sky directly enveloped the supreme sage's palm. Heavens, someone was attacking a supreme sage. Lu Yu and the others had just arrived when they saw this scene. They were so scared that they almost fainted. Hui Yuan also took a deep breath. It was someone from the Wind Clan. That's right, the storm in the sky was the attack of the Wind Clan's supreme sage. After the Wind Clan's supreme sage, another person attacked. It was as if 100,000 suns had descended together. The bright light made everyone unable to open their eyes. Chapter 46-41. Heavens, what a terrifying flame! It was the great sage of the Golden Crow tribe. Everyone was shocked. Just then, another terrifying black cloud filled the air. The terrifying aura was incomparably cold. Everyone felt as though they had arrived in hell. Some people were terrified. The great sage of the serene cloud sect had arrived. 4 great sages joined in the battle. Their terrifying power broke through the heavens and earth. Just then, there was a roar. A ray of light streaked across the heavens and earth. It was so fast that no one could see it. It was the great sage of the Light Clan. Were they here too? The great sage of the remote antiquity family had finally arrived. After the great sage of the Light Clan, the great sage of the Holy Heavens clan arrived with a sky full of holy light. Everyone was terrified. The battle ahead was even more terrifying. In the sky, a divine cauldron appeared. Torrential divine flames spread out in all directions. It was the great sage of the Pill Cauldron sect. These top sects and remote antiquity families had all sent their great sages. The other sage kings had all retreated far away. Buzz. The entire void was shattered into pieces. Even the shattered ruins were reduced to rubble and scattered in all directions. Many of them flew towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a golden radiance. In the next moment, a sharp light burst out. He stretched out his hand and grabbed in front of him. Could it be that a treasure had fallen down? When the others saw this, they exclaimed. In an instant, more than 10 figures rushed towards Lin Xian. It seemed that they wanted to snatch the treasure too. Just then, someone roared, "Get lost!" A golden claw appeared between the heavens and earth, tearing everything apart. More than 10 figures flew backwards. Their faces were filled with fear. Someone exclaimed. It was the expert of the Golden Crow tribe. Golden Crow How descended in a domineering manner and stretched out a huge golden hand to grab at the surrounding void. The surrounding void kept shattering. Everyone saw that there was only one thing that was intact. It was a fragment. There were many patterns on it, like a corner of a tortoise shell. There seemed to be something recorded on the ancient tortoise shell. Everyone was shocked. However, Golden Crow How's appearance made everyone fearful. No one dared to step forward. He was a top genius, an expert. The person who had attacked before was probably unlucky. Golden Crow How snorted. "Do you think you are qualified to take this thing?" Killing intent surged from its body. Lu Yu, Hui Yuan, and the others quickly retreated. Lin Xian sneered. "A loser like you still has the face to be arrogant in front of me?" He clenched his hand into a fist and punched out, shattering all the light on his opponent's body. Lin Xian waved his hand and covered the tortoiseshell completely. "How dare you?" Another cold snort was heard, and a man in battle armor appeared between heaven and earth. This person had an ice-cold power. Everyone was terrified. Was he here too? After the spirit arrived, it stared at Lin Xian and handed the item over. Lin Xian snorted coldly. "Speak with your own ability." Golden swords burst out from his eyes and pierced forward. "You want to contend against me with just you?" An evil sword flew out and swept in all directions. His gaze met with Lin Xian's. Heaven and earth collapsed, following which the evil spirit charged over. On the other side, Jinwu Hao also made his move. It seemed that they all wanted to obtain the tortoiseshell. Not good. Everyone was flabbergasted. Even though Lin Xian had displayed his prowess earlier on, but right now it was Evil Spirit and Jinwu Hao who were working together. Could he fight against them? Hui Yuan was terrified. In the next moment, he shouted, "Great, the top prodigy of Pill Cauldron sect is here. Lord Jiang Chun, Please save him. Jiang Chun was in the air, with 4 fire dragons under his feet, baring their fangs and brandishing their claws. A cauldron floated in his hand as he stared at Lin Xian. Then he asked coldly, "Why did you save him?" Hui Yuan said, "He saved us previously. That's your problem. He might be holding a treasure from the heavenly court. Hand it over, and I'll let him go." A cold voice sounded. Hui Yuan and the others' faces turned ugly. They did not expect Lord Jiangchen to attack Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. "If you want the treasure, speak with your own strength." With a roar, he slapped out the man-ruler's seal. 3 man-ruler's seals flew towards the 3 of them. "You're courting death." Golden Crow, how he and evil spirit sneered. "You want to challenge the 3 of us alone? You don't have the right." Jiang Qin held the cauldron in his hand and said coldly, "Since you saved the disciples of Pill Cauldron sect, I won't kill you, but I'll suppress you." The cauldron opened, and monstrous divine flames rushed out, enveloping Lin Xian. Oh no! Everyone was stunned. However, a sword light tore through the divine flames, and Lin Xian walked out forcefully. "There's only one treasure. Who should I give it to?" A tortoise shell floated above his hand. In the next moment, a golden light appeared in his eyes. He had already used an illusion. As expected, with the tortoise shell and the illusion, the 3 experts were no longer working together. Lin Xian charged forward. The 4 of them fought. This time, they were really fighting for themselves. The surrounding sages did not think much of it. They thought that everyone who saw a treasure would fight for themselves. However, some of the older experts were shocked when they saw this. This was unusual. This young man must have used some kind of method. It was too terrifying. After 300 moves, the evil spirit suddenly shouted coldly, "Damn it! How dare you use an illusion on me?" The phantom of an evil sword appeared in his eyes, destroying everything. Jiang Chen also roared, "Unforgivable!" Golden Crow House shouted angrily, "Damned brat! How dare you ambush me?" The 3 of them were really angry. Had they unknowingly fallen for the other party's illusion? Lin Xian laughed and grabbed the tortoise shell again. "The 3 of you are only SOSO. As he said that, he pushed his hands forward, and a Taiji diagram appeared. The yin-yang sword swept forward. The 3 of them roared furiously as they sent all the sword chi flying and charged over. This time, the 3 of them had joined forces and were prepared. They were probably in danger. Lin Xian sneered. "So what if I'm fighting the 3 of you alone? Come on." His black hair fluttered in the wind, and his hands opened the sky. Endless sword chi erupted from his body. At that moment, he seemed to have transformed into a peerless god of war. He was extremely powerful. For a moment, the 3 of them could not take him down. That shocked everyone. At that moment, another cold snort was heard. A large golden hand enveloped them. Boom! The expressions of Jiang Chen and the others changed. The power was also terrifying, not weaker than theirs. In the next moment, they quickly retreated. With a boom, a large crack appeared in front of them. Following that, a man in purple walked over, his power suppressing heaven and earth. "Yi Wu Dao!" Golden Crow House snorted coldly. "Are you going to meddle in our business? Lin Xian is my friend. You can fight 1-on-1, but if you want to fight 3-on-1, you'll have to ask me first." Yi Wu Dao was extremely powerful. Lin Xian laughed. "Wu Dao, you came at the right time. Let's take him down together." Chapter 46-42. Are you looking down on us? The evil spirit gnashed its teeth, an unsightly expression on its face. Each and every one of them was a top genius qualified to enter the Violet Palace Hall. But now, the 2 of them were trying to fight the 3 of them. Were they looking down on them? The three of them took a step forward, causing the 9 heavens and 10 lands to tremble. Lin Xian and Leaf Dowdenier were like 2 gods of war, completely fearless. It was at this point that a sigh rang out. Another glamorous figure approached them. It was Wind Phoenix. She came to Leaf Dowdenier's side. Although Lin Xian hadn't given her any face last time, Leaf Dowdenier was still an honored guest of hers. Now that Leaf Dowdenier had made a move, she couldn't just sit back and watch. The 6 of them faced off against each other, their terrifying auras suppressing the 9 heavens. Roar! Suddenly, the sky shattered and a boundless aura pressed down. Everyone felt like their bodies were about to be torn apart. A furious roar rang out like a million claps of thunder as a man clad in armor stepped out, radiating the power of the great Tao. He walked over like a supreme emperor. He attacked the great sages in front of him. A great sage had arrived, and this person's strength was too terrifying. Who was he? Countless sects were shocked. They couldn't even tell which faction he belonged to. Whiz! A huge battle broke out in the sky. The mysterious man struck out with his palm, causing 10,000 rays of light to form a heavenly blade that swept out in all directions. Fall back! Lin Xian and the others narrowed their eyes. Although the other party wasn't targeting them, just the aura they emitted was enough to threaten their lives. This great sage was too terrifying. Gradually, the great sages stopped fighting each other and charged toward the ground. They tore the earth apart. The void shattered, and the earth split apart. The terrifying scene left everyone dumbstruck. What were these great sages doing? A moment later, they saw the attacks of the great sages being repelled. There was something beneath the ground. Everyone's eyes lit up. Even Lin Xian's eyes shone with a terrifying light as he looked over. Then he sucked in a cold breath. What a terrifying formation! The ancient heavenly court did indeed retain some mysterious space. There must be an inheritance left behind by the ancient heavenly court under this formation. The eyes of countless people turned red, and they could only watch from afar. The great sages in front of them also took a deep breath and attacked aggressively. After a series of terrifying attacks, the great sages frowned. They realized that the array formation below them was too powerful. With their strength alone, they were unable to break it. From the looks of it, it was impossible to use brute force. The only way to enter was to break the formation. Unwilling to give up, the Lightfolk Great Sage transformed into a beam of light that shot toward Yangqi. The other great sages joined forces and prepared to try again. At this rate, the formation would break apart sooner or later. The surrounding sages clenched their fists tightly. It was useless. Even if they fought for 100 years, they still wouldn't be able to open it. At this moment, a calm voice rang out. Hearing this, everyone turned to look. Who was it? Was he doubting the strength of the great sage? Lin Xian was also surprised and turned to look. The next moment, he was stunned. Hearing this, Jin Wuhao sneered. How foolish! The strength of a great sage was not something you could imagine. Yu Xie and the rest frowned as well. They saw a black-robed man walking over. The black aura around him was even stranger than the people of Yuyun's sect. They couldn't tell who he was. Lin Xian was stunned. This aura was too familiar. Wasn't this Heishan? He was here. No matter how old you are, you still like to play tricks. Lin Xian laughed. Yu Wudao was surprised. You know him? Lin Xian nodded. Old friend. Heishan turned his head. Kid, you've grown faster than I thought. You've come to Taiching Ancient City so quickly. Don't leave for a while. I'll give you a big gift when the time comes. Lin Xian's eyes lit up. For Heishan to call it a big gift, it must be extraordinary. Could it be related to the ancient heavenly court? Heishan did not say anything. He smiled mysteriously and looked at Jin Wu Hao. Don't judge this with your eyes. The great sages, are nothing more than this. They can't break this array. Indeed, half a day had passed. Hundreds of worlds had been destroyed, but the formation was still safe and sound. The faces of Jin Wu Hao and the others turned ugly. What kind of formation was this? It was too terrifying. Lin Xian was also surprised. He asked, "Hey Shan, do you have a way?" Hey Shan laughed. "I naturally have a way. Unless those great sages come and beg me, I might be able to help them. They're really overestimating themselves." Jin Wu Hao laughed coldly. "Who do you think you are? I haven't eaten golden crow meat in a long time. Kid, kill 2 golden crows for me to try." He Shan looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, "Don't worry, I miss the taste of golden crow meat too. You're courting death." Jin Wu Hao roared and charged over. Lin Xian sent out a palm strike, sending him flying backward. But at this time, 2 figures flashed past and charged at Lin Xian. Lin Xian jumped in fright and hurriedly used Void Escape to dodge. Then 2 golden crows appeared. They were 2 experts of the older generation. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. "How dare you be disrespectful to the Golden Crow tribe? You're courting death." The 2 elders charged at Lin Xian. "How dare you?" Yi Wudao roared and wanted to attack. However, the evil spirits blocked him. "Don't meddle in other people's affairs." He Shan looked at this scene and smiled. "Do you want me to help you?" Lin Xian said, "It's fine. I don't care about these 2 old things. Didn't you want to eat golden crow meat? I'll let you have a taste today." After saying that, he clapped his hands. A few black figures flew out from the beast domain. Then, a terrifying roar shook the heavens and the earth. The ice fire swan rushed out and used the law of ice. The black water mystical snake charged out with the power of the Black Sea. It charged at the 2 elders. At the same time, a dozen more beasts flew out. Lin Xian looked at Jin Wu Hao and the other 2. "Don't you like to bully others with numbers? Today, I'll let you know what it's like to be attacked by a group." He waved his hand, and the dozen beasts all charged out. "Damn it!" Jin Wu Hao roared and tried to use his bloodline to increase the pressure. But it was useless. The beasts were all under control and were not afraid at all. They charged over crazily and exploded in an instant. The surrounding people were stunned. Where did so many beasts come from? Even Feng Huang was stunned. Lin Xian had such a trick up his sleeve. Yi Wudao sneered. These people deserved it. He Shan was shocked. This kid can control so many beasts? Is he a beast tamer? With his experience, he naturally understood in an instant. Chapter 46-43. Golden Crow How Evil Spirit and Jiangchen roared. Although they were elites, these beasts were not afraid of death. Some of them even burned their bloodline and laws to fight them. How could they be a match for them? They did not want to waste their lives. Hence, they quickly retreated. Their faces were pale. No way. 3 top geniuses were actually beaten back by a single person. The surrounding people were stunned. Golden Crow How gritted his teeth, and his face darkened. That damned brat, borrowing the power of beasts was nothing. Lin Xian sneered. "The 3 of you ganged up on me just now. What was that?" "Why, do you want to fight me one-on-one?" "I'll fight you with one hand." Golden Crow How did not dare to speak. He was no match for Lin Xian. He gritted his teeth, hoping that the 2 elders could kill these beasts. However, the elders were not in good condition either. The ice fire swan had mastered the laws of ice and fire. The black water mystical snake was a rare beast with terrifying strength. In the end, one of the elders was sent flying while spitting out blood. The other elder's body was torn into pieces. His body wanted to heal, but Black Mountain waved his hand, and a black aura formed a large net that sealed half of his body. "Great, I'll eat golden crow meat later." The elder was so angry that he vomited blood. He quickly escaped, and his body reformed in another place. His face was extremely pale. They glared at Lin Xian. Lin Xian sneered. As an elder, you can't even defeat a young man like me. How dare you stay here? The Golden Crow elder gritted his teeth, but there was nothing they could do with the powerful beasts guarding Lin Xian. Golden Crow, How Evil Spirit, and Jiang Chen's faces were cold. The fact that the three of them could not defeat Lin Xian made them feel ashamed. Lin Xian looked at Black Mountain and asked, "Can't you break it?" Black Mountain shook his head. Now was not the time. They could not break it with their strength alone. They could only break it with a formation. All right, since that was the case, Lin Xian did not plan to stay here any longer. He prepared to leave. Hui Yuan walked up and said, "Young master, please follow me back to Pill Cauldron Sect. I will definitely repay young master." Lin Xian said, "With Jiang Chen's attitude towards me, is there a need for me to go back?" Hui Yuan gritted his teeth. He was him, and they were them. "You saved me. My grandfather is a core elder. If you go to Pill Cauldron School, you won't be in any danger. I can swear on my life." Lin Xian nodded. "All right, I'd like to see it for myself." After bidding farewell to Heishan, Yi Wudao, Lu Yun, and the others, Lin Xian and Hui Yuan set off for Pill Cauldron School. Pill Cauldron School was a top-notch school. More importantly, most of its members were alchemists, and some of them were extremely powerful. After returning to the Pill Cauldron School, many people were surprised. They didn't expect Hui Yuan to bring a guest. They were puzzled. Who was this person? Was he worthy of their attention? Hui Yuan said that he was my savior. He brought Lin Xian to his residence and said, "Lin Gongzi, you rest first. If you need anything, just let me know." Lin Xian nodded. He set up an array formation and started to rest. He recovered some of his strength and adjusted his condition to its peak. Then he took out a pill bottle. It was the pill bottle that Hui Yuan had given him. The pill bottle was very old. When he opened it, a pill fell out. It was only half of the pill, and it was already petrified. He wondered if it could still be used. Lin Xian frowned. He used his strength, but the pill didn't break. He was surprised. With his strength, even an ordinary sacred artifact would be shattered. But the pill didn't break. That really shocked him. Could this thing be used? He was very doubtful. He kept it. Then he took out the 3 broken swords. Previously, he had sealed it and brought it back with him. Lin Xian felt that it was a powerful weapon that could be used when necessary. Lin Xian used his Tianji God Eyes to imprint a soul imprint on them. Then he kept them again. The next day, Hui Yuan came again. This time, he took out a storage ring and said, "Thank you for saving my life, Master. Here are some pills that I have collected. There are pills for healing, recovery, increasing strength, and even soul strengthening. Master, if you need anything else, just let me know." Lin Xian took it and found that there were thousands of bottles of pills. He was really surprised. He said, "That's enough. By the way, there are some things that I hope you can help me find out." "Master, please tell me when you need it." Lin Xian said, "I want to find a spiritual medicine or pill that can prolong one's life. Do you know?" Hui Yuan was surprised. Then he said, "There are such spiritual medicines, but they are very precious. Our Pill Cauldron sect has a lot of information about spiritual medicines." "I'll do it right away." "Okay." Lin Xian stayed here temporarily. About 5 days later, Hui Yuan came again. This time he brought a woman with him. He said, "Lin Gongzi, let me introduce you. This is my sister." The woman was wearing a red robe, and the flame aura on her body was extremely cold. The woman said, "My name is Dan Feng. I have something to talk to you about." At this moment, the flame said, "She's my sister. Although we're not related by blood, she grew up in our Pill Cauldron sect. She was raised by my grandfather, so we have a good relationship. She probably won't harm you. More importantly, Dan Feng was a top genius. Her strength and talent in alchemy were not inferior to Jiang Chen's at all. Lin Xian was surprised to hear that. Pill Cauldron Sect was hiding such a genius. He nodded slightly to show that he understood. Hui Yuan smiled and said, Dan Feng, sister, you guys talk. I'll go out first. He turned and left. Lin Xian invited Dan Feng in and asked, Fairy Dan Feng, why are you looking for me? Dan Feng said, I'll get straight to the point. I heard that you got a pill from Hui Yuan. You got it from the ruins of the heavenly court? Lin Xian said, That's right. I saved his life, and he gave me the pill. Does Fairy Dan Feng want to take it back now? Dan Feng smiled. How can I take it back? I just want to ask you if the pill has been petrified and can't be absorbed. Lin Xian was surprised. How did you know? On second thought, it might be Hui Yuan who told her. After all, Hui Yuan got it first. Actually, he didn't know that Hui Yuan didn't even have the chance to examine it. He gave it to Lin Xian directly. Opposite him, Hui Yuan's eyes flickered. I think you don't know how to absorb it. You even think it's a useless pill. Lin Xian said, That's right. Do you have a way? Dan Feng said, If you trust me, I can try. If I succeed, the two of us have to absorb the power of the pill together. Do you agree? Lin Xian thought for a while and said, Sure. Although he knew alchemy, he couldn't do anything about the petrified pill. As for this Dan Feng, she should be a top-notch alchemist. Thinking about it, perhaps she should use special methods. Chapter 46-44. All right, there's no time to lose. Let's get started. Dan Feng took it back and took out a furnace. There were 4 fire phoenixes circling around the furnace. It was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian was surprised. Then he took out the petrified pill. The fire phoenix said, Give me some time, and I'll stay here for the time being. Then she began to use her own method to crack the petrified pill. Lin Xian began to study the tortoiseshell when he had nothing to do. There were many runes of the great Tao recorded on the tortoiseshell. It was extremely mysterious and needed to be comprehended and experienced. Lin Xian had been studying it for the past few days. He felt as if he had entered a magical world. Then he took a deep breath. It was incredible. Under his heavenly secret divine eye, he discovered that all the runes on the tortoiseshell were intertwined and finally formed an ancient character. Heavens! The Tao on it was so faint that it was almost invisible. It was obvious that after 50,000 years, it had almost disappeared. However, it still remained. Moreover, ordinary people couldn't detect it at all. If Lin Xian didn't have the heavenly secret divine eye, he probably wouldn't have been able to detect it. He had to use the power of reincarnation to detect it. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. The power of reincarnation was related to the heavenly court? Then he seemed to have thought of something and took out the 3 sealed broken swords again. He used the power of reincarnation of the heavenly secret eye to observe carefully. He discovered that there was indeed a great Tao on it. However, it wasn't complete. Could it be? Lin Xian said to Dan Feng, then left Pill Cauldron Sect and went to the ruins of the ancient heavenly court again. He suppressed the remaining 4 swords and brought them back. The 7 swords were connected together. Lin Xian finally discovered that the great Tao on it also formed an ancient character. This was the heavenly court's Tao. Lin Xian was too shocked. He searched again, but found that it was only on a few weapon fragments. Apart from the 7 broken swords and the tortoiseshell, he didn't find a third one. These 7 broken swords and tortoiseshell must have been extraordinary back in the day. Lin Xian returned to the Pill Cauldron Sect and continued to meditate. Although there were only 2 ancient characters, the Tao contained within them shocked Lin Xian. Lin Xian decided to comprehend the heavenly court's Tao. Outside, in Grand Clarity Ancient City, news was flying everywhere. There was news about the ancient heavenly court every day, but none of it was good news. None of the great sages could do anything about it, so they had no choice but to go back and think of a way to deal with it. Countless people were madly searching and fighting in the ruins. However, because the great sages had joined forces many times, the ultimate spell formation was activated and swept through everything. Many people were instantly killed, their bodies and souls destroyed. As a result, the ruins of the ancient heavenly court became even more dangerous than before. Those weapon fragments also seemed to have received a boost of power and became even more terrifying. None of this had anything to do with Lin Xian. Lin Xian had been meditating for the past 2 months. On the other side, the Red Phoenix was trying her best to crack the petrified pill. Finally, she succeeded. She said, "Lin Gongzi, it's done." Lin Xian put away the broken swords and tortoiseshell, then walked out. As expected, there were countless cracks on the petrified pill. Then power surged out. He and the Red Phoenix sat down cross-legged and began to absorb the half of the pill. This could increase soul power. Lin Xian was overjoyed. Once his soul became stronger, his heavenly secret divine, I would also become stronger. Using the heavenly secret divine, to cast the power of reincarnation would allow him to comprehend the heavenly court's Tao faster. On the other side, the Red Phoenix was also overjoyed. She also needed powerful soul power to refine pills, so the two of them absorbed with all their might. After about 10 days, a terrifying soul storm surged out from the two of them. It swept out in all directions. At this moment, countless people were in an uproar. Those from the Pill Cauldron sect were shocked. What a terrifying soul power. Was someone about to break through? They all turned to look. On the other side, Jiang Chen also sensed this soul power. It was too terrifying. Who among the younger generation had such a soul? Was it the Red Phoenix? His figure flashed, and he quickly walked over. Soon, he arrived in front of the mansion. This was Hui Yuan's mansion. He was not surprised that the Red Phoenix was here. After all, the Red Phoenix was Hui Yuan's sister. When he looked down with his soul, he frowned. He found that the Red Phoenix was not alone. There was another person sitting beside her, and it was not Hui Yuan. Who was it? A cold, murderous intent appeared in his eyes. The Red Phoenix was the top genius of the Pill Cauldron sect. Moreover, she was extremely beautiful. He had long regarded her as his. He would never allow anyone else to sit beside the Red Phoenix. With the protection of the array, he could not see the other party's face clearly. He immediately snorted coldly. Jiang Chun waited outside. He did not believe that the other party would not come out. Standing in the void, Jiang Chen emitted a cold, murderous intent that swept through the 9 heavens. The surrounding disciples who had rushed over were also extremely frightened. They all retreated. The soul storm in front of them lasted for a long time before it slowly disappeared. The Red Phoenix and Lin Xian both opened their eyes. Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. The Red Phoenix was also happy. This time, her strength had increased a lot, especially her soul power. Lin Xian was the same. He felt that the heavenly secret divine eyes had become stronger than before. He had broken through the 14th heavenly secret map. He thought that he could condense more reincarnation power. It was really an unexpected joy. However, in the next moment, when he felt the terrifying murderous intent outside, he frowned. The Red Phoenix was the same. She snorted coldly and walked out. Looking at the figure in front of her, she frowned and said, "Jiang Chen, are you releasing your murderous intent towards me? Why, do you want to fight with me? I don't mind fighting with you." compete in martial arts or alchemy. The surrounding people exclaimed when they saw it. It was indeed the Red Phoenix. Her strength had become stronger than before. Jiang Chen's face darkened. Hearing the discussions around him, he snorted coldly. Those who want to die can stay here. Those who don't want to die, scram. The terrifying, murderous intent swept in all directions. The surrounding people retreated in fear. Soon, other than Lin Xian and the other two, there was no one else here. Jiang Chen landed. He looked at the Red Phoenix and said, "I'm not targeting you. Why would I attack you?" After saying that, he looked at Lin Xian again. An extremely cold, murderous intent appeared in his eyes. "Kid, who asked you to come here? This is the Pill Cauldron sect." Previously, the three of them had failed to take down Lin Xian, causing him to lose face. Now that he saw Lin Xian again, he was naturally filled with murderous intent. The Red Phoenix snorted coldly. "Why can't he be here? Lin Gongzi is my guest. Do you have a problem with that? How dare you speak up for him?" Jiang Chen was completely enraged. He really couldn't stand it. "Kid, stand out if you're a man. Do you think you can survive with the Red Phoenix protecting you?" Lin Xian also laughed. "Why? Do you want to attack me? Previously, the three of you couldn't defeat me. Now, you're alone. Are you sure you dare to attack me?" Chapter 46-45. Last time, I didn't use all my strength and trump cards. Otherwise, do you think you could have survived? Jiang Chen said coldly. "Now hand over what you got obediently." Dan Feng said, "This is my place. Aren't you being too presumptuous? Jiang Chen, if you continue like this, I'll kick you out." Jiang Chen roared, "How can you treat me like this? Don't you understand my feelings for you? Also, this kid got what was left behind by the ancient heavenly court. Don't you want it? Everyone has their own fortuitous encounters. Since young Master Lin obtained the treasure, then it belongs to him. Naturally, I won't interfere. As for your feelings, I don't understand, and I don't want to understand. Hurry up and leave. I don't welcome you." Jiang Chen was about to go crazy. A terrifying flame burst out from his eyes as he charged towards Lin Xian. This was the soul fire, together with the overflowing divine fire. It was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The heaven's secret map in his eyes bloomed. Similarly, a soul sword flew out and blasted forward. An earth-shattering sound rang out. Jiang Chen felt a piercing pain in his eyes. He retreated, and his expression turned even uglier. Damn it, the other party's soul power was so strong too, not weaker than him? Damn it. He roared, and the heavenly fire burned. He was going to go all out and kill this kid. At this moment, Dan Feng stepped out. The power of fire wind spread out from her body as she shouted, "Are you really going to attack? Don't blame me for being impolite. All right, just you wait." Jiang Chen roared and turned to leave. Seeing the other party's figure disappear, Dan Feng sighed. "Because of me, you offended him." "I'm sorry," Lin Xian said. "It's fine. Even if it wasn't for you, I still had some conflicts with him. Previously, we fought in the Heavenly Court ruins. So, you don't have to feel guilty." Dan Feng said, "I didn't expect your soul power to be so strong. Also, it seems like you've cultivated a special eye technique." Lin Xian nodded and smiled. "You should be a top-grade pill, right? Why don't we exchange pointers in Pill Dao? You know how to refine pills too." Dan Feng was even more surprised. Lin Xian said, "I know a little, but I can't compare to a genius of alchemy like you. All right, let's spar then." Dan Feng's interest was piqued. The two people started sparring in the following time. During this time, Hui Yuan also came. Seeing that the two of them were so focused, he quickly left. He even ordered that no one should disturb him. Truth be told, when he had met Dan Feng before, she had always had an ice-cold appearance. Even toward him, her younger brother. It was the same. It had been a long time since he had seen her smile. Now that she was with Lin Xian, she actually smiled every day. It was really surprising. It seemed that this Lin Gongzi was very likely to become his brother-in-law. Thinking of this, he sighed. This was because Jiang Chun and Dan Feng were known to all. Now that Lin Xian had arrived, it was likely that another storm would be stirred up. Lin Xian's place was quiet, but there were undercurrents surging outside. This was especially true for the ruins of the ancient heavenly court. They were extremely nervous. The great sage's eyes were bloodshot. They mobilized all their forces to study the array formation. In fact, some great sages personally came and stayed for a month or two without leaving. On this day, the array formation sent out a message inviting all the geniuses in the world. It seemed that the Purple Mansion was about to be fully opened. Countless people were in an uproar. Previously, the news of the Purple Mansion opening had already spread. However, at that time, only Lin Xian and a few other top prodigies entered. The others were not qualified to enter. Now that all the geniuses in the world were invited, everyone was shocked. Countless people gathered again. They all set off for the Purple Mansion. On Pill Cauldron Sec's side, Jiang Chen received the news and quickly took action. He once again arrived outside Lin Xian's residence and spoke. Hu Feng walked out and said, "Are you going to make a move again?" Jiang Chen glanced at Lin Xian. He snorted coldly. "I'll give you face and not make a move for the time being. I'm here today because of an important matter. The Purple Mansion has been reactivated, and it's going to be opened in the next few days. Let's make a move too. Is it opening again?" Lin Xian was also surprised. He frowned. He now knew that the totem of the Purple Mansion was the red spider lily. Moreover, there was a mysterious expert who attacked it. It was very likely that he was from the Purple Mansion. Lin Xian was wondering if he should go and take a look. Then he sneered and went to see what the Purple Mansion was up to. Dan Feng was also surprised. She had long heard of the Purple Mansion. She didn't have the chance last time, so she definitely wouldn't miss it this time. She looked at Lin Xian and smiled. "Lin Gongzi, let's go together." Lin Xian nodded and said, "Okay." Seeing the two of them talking and laughing, Jiang Chen, who was in front, was about to vomit blood. Damn it, what's so good about this kid that he can stay by Dan Feng's side? The Purple Mansion was incomparably mysterious. The scenery inside was magnificent, and the spiritual energy of heaven and earth gathered in one place. It was like a paradise on earth. At this moment, the Purple Mansion was extremely lively. Many people entered one after another. Of course, those who entered were all top geniuses and experts. The women in the Purple Mansion were like fairies, and the men were either like immortals. They were like unparalleled emperors with supreme auras that made everyone look up to them. There weren't many people in the Purple Mansion, but every one of them was a top expert and expert. It was really shocking. It was no wonder that they could surpass the clan of the ancients 70,000 years ago. This place truly made people linger on and forget to return. Yun Fei arrived, bringing with him a natural and unrestrained manner, as if he was an immortal. A woman in a silver robe walked up. There was a crescent moon on her forehead, and she had a mysterious aura. She was called Yufian. She was one of the successors of the Purple Mansion Celestial Mountain, and this time she seemed to be the host. At this moment, Yufian walked up and smiled. "Young Master Yunfei, long time no see. Please come in." Yunfei also smiled. Yu Xianzi was more beautiful than before, and her aura was also stronger than before. As expected of a successor of the Purple Mansion, he walked in with a smile. Not long after, another person came. He had a holy aura, like an angel. He was Sheng Tiansu. When he came, he was respectfully invited in. Not long after, the sky was filled with golden light, as if a sun had descended. Golden Crow How also came, with arrogance and arrogance. The people around felt their scalps tingle. The divine island in the sky descended, and a woman walked out of the wind. Next to her was a purple figure, like an unparalleled divine king. The arrival of the two made people look up to them. It was the princess of the Feng clan, Feng Huang. That person should be the successor of the Yi clan, a clan of the ancients. Yes, he was Yi Wudao, the legendary sacred body of the ancients. Yu Fian smiled. Sister Phoenix, long time no see. Young Master Yi, please come in. Yi Wudao nodded and walked forward. However, at this moment, they turned around and looked at the void. Chapter 46:46. The void split open, and a figure appeared out of thin air. The surrounding people exclaimed in shock. That person was so fast. It was Guangming from the Light Clan. Guangming had arrived. He arrived with extreme speed and stared at Yi Wudao. It seemed like the fairies of the Purple Mansion were inferior to Yi Wudao. Yi Wudao's eyes also shone with a cold light. The heavenly emperor scripture was circulating in his body. Between them, the great Tao intertwined, and the 9 heavens split open. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people were shocked. Was there going to be another battle between the two of them? Previously, the two of them had fought once, but they were evenly matched. Neither of them could do anything to the other. Yu Fian walked over with a smile. The two of them were top figures. If they wanted to fight, there would be plenty of chances later. Now, please go in first. Her voice was very pleasant to the ears, like the voice of the 9 heavens. It seemed to be able to calm one's soul. The surrounding atmosphere became more relaxed. Yi Wudao retracted his gaze and said. Guangming also smiled. I naturally have to give face to the fairy. Next evil spirit also arrived. There were also some disciples from the great sects, and even the ancient families. It could be said that this was a grand event. The Purple Mansion had even sent out disciples to properly entertain these people. Other than Yu Fian, the disciples of the other immortal mountains also came out. Each and every one of them was a peerless figure. They were like the 9 heavens maidens that everyone looked up to. Those people were all stunned. Evil Spirit, Shengtians, and the others took a deep breath and clenched their fists. Phoenix also turned her head, but she was stunned. She only saw the beautiful fairies, but she did not see the person who was like a supreme emperor. She was a bit disappointed. She did not know where that person went. Among the fairies, Qin Sienna was also there. At this moment, her aura and cultivation were much stronger than when she had just arrived at the buried Emperor's star. It was shocking that she could even reach Hui Yuan's level. One had to know that Qin Sienna had just joined the Purple Mansion, and her strength had increased so much. The Purple Mansion was incomparably mysterious. Of course, she was from the 9-tailed Fox clan and had a very powerful bloodline. At this moment, the corner of her mouth rose. Her smile shocked heaven and earth. Jin Wu Hao's eyes shone as he walked over. How should I address this fairy? He could sense that the other party also had a very powerful bloodline in him. Qin Sienna. What a good name. Would Fairy Qin accompany me for a drink? Golden Crow, How invited with a smile. In his opinion, the other party would definitely not refuse. This was because his strength and talent were both top-notch. Unfortunately, he guessed wrong this time. Sienna smiled and shook her head. Even if he rejected her, it didn't seem to make her angry. The surrounding people were stunned. They were shocked. This was the first time someone had dared to reject Jin Wu Hao. Jin Wu Hao was also taken aback. A piercingly cold light flashed in his eyes. After thinking for a moment, he said with a smile, "It seems that Fairy Qin is still not familiar with me. Don't worry, I'll let you have time to understand me in the future. One day, I think Fairy will be willing to drink wine with me. It was clear from his words that Jin Woo Hao was unwilling to accept this. The surrounding people were also discussing animatedly. Qin Xianer continued to smile and didn't say anything. Her gaze casually scanned the surroundings. Clearly, she was also searching for someone. When she didn't see that figure, she was a little disappointed. However, he secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Even if you work hard for 100 years, he won't agree. At that moment, a cold voice was heard. Countless people were in an uproar as they looked up at the sky. Jin Woo Hao's expression also darkened. Who is it? Is he challenging me? With a cold shout, the surrounding sky collapsed and the earth cracked. At that moment, the void above cracked open. The flames that filled the sky turned into a divine furnace and descended from the sky. Everyone felt a scorching aura that seemed to be able to burn the 9 heavens. It seemed that the people from Pill Cauldron's sect had arrived. Everyone was surprised. Could it be that Jiang Chen was challenging Jin Woo Hao? Another 2 top-notch geniuses. It seemed that there would be a good show to watch. However, their expressions soon changed. That was because they realized that Jiang Chen wasn't alone. There were 2 other extremely terrifying auras that were not weaker than Jiang Chen. Some of them were even stronger. Another expert had arrived. Who was it? This time, even Yu Wudao, Feng Huang, Xingtian Tiance, and the others looked over. Jin Woo Hao shouted coldly, "Jiang Chen, are you challenging me?" After Jiang Chen landed, he didn't say a word. His face was a little dark. At that moment, someone next to him spoke. "It's not him, it's me. Are you unhappy? It's you." Jin Woo Hao finally saw clearly that it was Lin Xian. His eyes instantly turned red. "Despicable brat. How dare you come again?" Jiang Chen had previously injured an elder of the Golden Crow tribe. He had even taken half of that elder's body and barbecued it. How could he tolerate that? He roared and wanted to attack. The Golden Crow flames that filled the sky quickly burned and condensed into a sun that charged over. It was so terrifying. It seemed that he was going to kill him as soon as he attacked. Had the hatred between the 2 sides reached such a level? Before Lin Xian could attack, Dan Feng waved her hand, and a fire phoenix flew out and swept through the sky. It blocked the sun. In the next moment, she shouted coldly, "Were all the Golden Crows so arrogant?" It was a woman who had blocked Jin Woo Hao's attack. Who was she? Countless people were in an uproar. At that moment, the eyes of Light Yunfei and the other top-notch experts burst out with piercing cold light and froze in place. Jin Woo Hao was even more shocked. He looked forward. "Who are you? When did the Pill Cauldron Gate have a top-notch genius? My name is Dan Feng. I heard that your Golden Crow flames are very powerful. I would like to experience it." A terrifying fire phoenix surrounded Dan Feng's body. The others were surprised. Sheng Tiansu asked directly, "Jiang Chen, is this a genius of the Pill Cauldron Gate?" Jiang Chen nodded. "That's right. Dan Feng is also a member of the Pill Cauldron Gate." As soon as he said that, countless people exclaimed. Some were extremely shocked. 2 top-notch geniuses had appeared in the Pill Cauldron Gate. It was unbelievable. Even some of the peerless sects felt immense pressure. Even the clan of the ancients were discussing animatedly. "She is Dan Feng." Feng Huang whispered. Obviously, she had heard of this name before. The corners of Light's mouth curled up into a smile. It was getting more and more interesting. Jin Woo Hao's eyes were also shining. It seemed that there were quite a few geniuses today. Dan Feng was also a peerless beauty. The corners of his mouth curled up. It was easy for a fairy to spar with fire. "After this gathering, why don't you come back with me? We can have a good spar." Dan Feng's face darkened. "You want to invite me? Do you have the right?" She raised her hand and shot out another fire phoenix. Terrifying flames covered the sky and earth. Jin Woohao wanted to deal with it calmly, but after 3 moves, he was shocked. His opponent's strength was not inferior to his at all. If he was careless, he might even be at a disadvantage. How could he embarrass himself in front of a woman? He would not allow it. Chapter 46-47. With a furious roar, he turned into a golden crow phantom and rushed over. Heaven and earth trembled. On the other side, the red phoenix formed a seal with both hands, forming a fiery wind seal that slammed forward. The two collided, and a deafening sound spread in all directions. Inside the Zifu, there was a mysterious formation that blocked all kinds of energy. Otherwise, some people would have been swept away by this energy and turned into a bloody mist. After the collision, the two of them retreated. The fire phoenix snorted. "What? Do you still think you're qualified to invite me?" Golden Crowhow's face was pale, and his hands were turning black. It was burned by the other party's flames. Damn it, the other party's fire phoenix was too terrifying. He didn't attack again. Lin Xian sneered when he saw this. "You have the right to be arrogant. Do you really think you can dominate the world? I'm afraid you can't beat anyone here. Damn it, you're courting death." Golden Crowhow roared. He was about to go crazy. Lin Xian sneered. "Are you sure you want to fight me? Do you believe that I can suppress you with one hand?" His body emitted a biting, cold, killing intent. Golden Crowhow gritted his teeth. "Kid, you'll definitely die if you challenge the Golden Crow clan." After saying a few words, he walked back and didn't attack again. The surrounding people were stunned. Who was that person? Some people discussed. Someone said, "I know him. He entered the Purple Mansion with Golden Crowhow." And the others. "He's very terrifying. I heard that he's a rogue cultivator." The surrounding people were stunned. Why was that guy with the people from the Pill Cauldron sect? Even the evil spirit furrowed its brows at this sight. A few months ago, he and Jiang Chun had joined forces to fight against the other party. Now, the other party was with Jiang Chun. What's going on? He asked Jiang Chun through voice transmission. Jiang Chun's face darkened, and he didn't respond. Lin Xian didn't care about the difference in the crowd. He greeted Yu Wudao and walked over to Qin Xianer to talk. Qin Xianer smiled when she heard that. Was this guy so familiar with the fairies of the Purple Mansion? The surrounding people were even more shocked. When Jin Woohao saw this scene, he clenched his teeth so hard they almost shattered. He went up, but was rejected. Yet the other party was still able to talk cheerfully. Was the gap between him and the other party really that big? He didn't believe it. At this time, Yu Fian walked out to smooth things over, and the atmosphere eased up again. At the same time, she said that she had asked everyone to come this time because the Purple Mansion had reopened. She gently waved her hand, and the maids served up exquisite dishes and spirit wine. The banquet began. Not long after, someone said, "We're all martial saints. It's boring to just drink and chat. Why don't we spar?" Many people were astonished, and some of their eyes flickered. At this time, experts from all over the world had gathered. Victory here could make one's name known throughout the world. This was a very good opportunity to gain fame. Yu Fian said with a smile, "Our Violet Palace has just opened. Today is not a good day to fight. I have another idea. I wonder if everyone is willing. What thoughts?" Yunfei smiled as he waved his fan. "Fairy F.A., please speak your mind." Recently, our Violet Mansion sect has been researching a mysterious formation. We would like to invite all the geniuses to see who can break the formation. If you can break the formation, then my Purple Mansion sect will give you a martial art of the ancient saints. A martial art of the ancient saints. Many people were astonished. They knew that the Violet Mansion sect was all-encompassing. It could be said that they had collected countless martial arts, But now the other party had taken out such a condition. What was so magical about that array formation? Some people couldn't wait. Euphemian, where is the formation? Many people stood up. They all wanted to obtain a martial art of the ancient saints. How could something from the Violet Mansion sect be weak? It might even be from tens of thousands of years ago. Lin Xian was also astonished. He didn't know what the Violet Mansion sect was doing. Euphemian smiled. It seems that everyone is interested. All right, everyone please follow me. She stood up and led everyone out of the hall, flying into the distance. Everyone followed. There was a valley in front of them. The spiritual energy inside was extraordinary. Euphemian landed in the valley, and everyone followed. They discovered that there was indeed the aura of a formation flickering in front of them. Furthermore, there was already a figure waiting there. It was a man surrounded by demons and gods. He looked like a peerless emperor. Everyone couldn't help but tremble when they looked at him. Who is this person? Is he someone from the Violet Mansion sect? He's so terrifying. Yunfei, Guang, and the others' eyes lit up. The other party's strength was very strong. He was a peerless enemy. Feng Huang's body swayed, and shock appeared in her eyes. It's him. She didn't expect that the person she wanted to meet would be here. Yi Wudao frowned. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. Why is this guy here? Could it be that he also joined the Violet Mansion sect? He looked at Qin Sienna and asked in a low voice. Qin Sienna said, You know him? Yao Guang. I didn't say anything wrong, right? Qin Sienna nodded. That's right. He's Yao Guang, the successor of one of the 9 immortal mountains. He joined the Violet Mansion sect even earlier than me. The Yao Guang Holy Son was an incredible figure in the true spirit world. He was extremely mysterious. He was very strong, but no one knew what level he had reached. They only knew that he was at the peak. Later, Lin Xian and the others entered the ancient starry sky path. And this Yao Guang seemed to have stayed in the true spirit world. When Lin Xian returned to the true spirit world from the ancient starry sky path, the Yao Guang Holy Son still hadn't fallen to a disadvantage. Later, Lin Xian and the others came to the buried Emperor's star. Yao Guang had also come and joined the Violet Mansion sect. It was truly shocking. Lin Xian looked at Yi Wudao. He saw that Yi Wudao was also frowning. Yao Guang's eyes flickered. He swept his gaze over everyone and naturally saw Lin Xian and Yi Wudao. He didn't seem surprised at all. It seemed that he had long since known of Lin Xian and Yi Wudao's existence. Yao Guang walked forward and smiled. Everyone, this is the formation our Violet Mansion sect set up. I wonder if anyone can break it. Everyone was curious. Was this formation an offensive one? Or an illusion one? Someone asked, That's right. Why don't you tell us what this formation is called? Yao Guang said that this formation is called the Nameless Formation. As for its effects and power, everyone will personally experience it after going up. Everyone was in an uproar. This was no different from not saying anything. They became even more curious. Let me try it. Someone walked up. It was a large man with a powerful physique. He held a battle axe on his back. He was like a god of war as he charged forward. The entire mountain valley shook violently. He leapt forward, turning into a bolt of lightning as he charged into the formation. He grabbed the battle axe on his back. The battle axe fell with a heaven-rending power. Boom! The formation flickered. Countless dazzling Dao runes smashed into the battle axe. The battle axe split apart, and the large man was sent flying. There was a bloody hole in his shoulder, and his arms had been completely crippled. Roar! He roared at the sky and rapidly retreated. Laws intertwined around his body, healing his wounds. At the same time, he was terrified. Not only had he been heavily injured, but his weapon had also shattered. The others were shocked. How powerful was this? This large man was a mid-sacred king and could be considered an expert. but he hadn't even been able to block a single attack. The formation's power had surpassed their expectations. It seemed that this ancient sage's martial technique wasn't so easy to obtain. Chapter 46-48. Stupid thing, you can't break a formation with brute force. Don't you know that? A cold laugh rang out. The tower-like man roared. Who was it? His eyes were filled with terrifying killing intent. The figure behind him sneered. Facing the terrifying gaze, he wasn't afraid at all. Instead, he waved the token in his hand. The tower-like man's face turned ugly. He gritted his teeth and left. The one who spoke was someone from the ghost sect. They were a peerless sect that he didn't dare to provoke. Because of the previous injury, he had lost face. He could only leave quickly. Of course, he didn't leave completely. Instead, he stood in a remote corner and watched. He wanted to see who could break such a terrifying formation. The others were also discussing. A few more people went up to try, but none of them succeeded. Whether it was using brute force, attacking, or using a formation to break the formation, they all failed. However, they lasted longer than the tower-like man. Could it be that no one succeeded? Many people were discussing. They now knew how terrifying the obscurity formation was. The people from the Purple Mansion were also nervous. Some of them were already sighing. From the looks of it, no one would be able to successfully break this array formation. That might not be the case. Light said coldly, "You still haven't said what the ancient saint's martial art is. Otherwise, I don't think any of the top experts would make a move." That was indeed the case. Although there were more than 10 people going up to try, Light, Sheng Tianmei, Yi Wudao, and the other top experts didn't make a move. They were all waiting. Yu Fian smiled. It seems that the Purple Mansion's offer isn't enough. Well, I'll let you know in advance. If you can break this formation, you'll get a divine ability. It's a martial art that was lost 30,000 years ago. The Great Desolate Heaven Hunter's Hand. It was created by the heaven-splitting great sage, and its power was boundless. When it was mastered, it could tear apart opponents of the same level with a single move. Later on, after great sage Hunting Heaven passed away, his martial arts disappeared. A crisp sound rang out. Many people sucked in a breath of cold air. The Great Desolate Heaven Hunter's Hand. It was a lost martial art. As expected of the Purple Mansion, they could even take it out. How did they get it? Exclamations of surprise could be heard. Jiang Chun, Dan Feng, and the others' eyes lit up. Yun Fei, Yu Xie, and the others' eyes were also shining. It seemed like the Purple Mansion sect was really sincere. Even they were tempted by this martial art. Since it's a lost ancient saint martial art, I'll gladly accept it. Jinwu, Hao walked over with large strides. I've broken your nameless formation. He walked toward the formation like a fiery god of war. Everyone's gaze was focused on him. The Z government's people were also looking forward to it. It seemed that the lost technique they had taken out had already been effective. A top-notch expert had come to break the formation. He wondered if they would succeed. As soon as Jinwu Hao walked into the formation, he could feel a terrifying power. He roared angrily, and the flames on his body soared into the sky. His wings turned into heavenly blades, and at the same time, his palms swept out in all directions. It seemed that he also wanted to use his tyrannical strength to tear apart the formation. The formation sensed the terrifying aura, and a light appeared on it, repelling everything. At the same time, a terrifying power rushed towards Jinwu Hao. How Jinwu roared. The people who were watching from the outside were terrified. The formation was too powerful. Even Jinwu Hao was suppressed to a disadvantage. Lin Xian's eyes flickered, and he frowned. Why does this formation look so familiar? He was a formation master, and when he looked at the formation, he naturally would not look at the surface. he would look at the core content. Therefore, he could naturally see the power of this formation. He seemed to have seen it somewhere before. However, he could not say it out loud. He felt that it was very strange. It seemed like the Z government was indeed mysterious. The formation was definitely set up by a great saint, and there might be more than one great saint. It was impossible to break it with brute force. The sound in front of him shook the heavens. The formation contained a destructive power, but in the end, Jinwu Hao still retreated. His hair was disheveled, and he gritted his teeth. Damn it, what kind of formation is this? He slapped out again, but the result was that he was pushed back, and he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Damn it, he roared angrily and flew into the sky. He swore that he would break the formation, but in the end, he did not succeed at all. It made him lose face. He was so angry that he wanted to destroy the entire valley. Jinwu Hao's body emitted a terrifying light, and it formed a sun, releasing an unparalleled power. The people in the valley were stunned. What is this guy trying to do? Is he trying to kill all of us? Run! Everyone retreated, and the Z government's people's expression changed. Jinwu Hao was too much. Yao Guang walked out and shouted coldly, "This is not a place where you can be presumptuous. Go to hell!" Jinwu Hao roared, and the golden sun descended. This was his full-strength attack. Yao Guang snorted and waved his hands, and a strange seal shot towards the sky. With a crack, the whole world was torn in half. The sun was instantly torn apart, and its power dissipated. Jinwu Hao kept retreating, and his face was pale. Damn it, his ultimate technique was instantly broken by the other party. Yi Wudao's eyes shone brightly. Is this the great desolate heaven-splitting palm? Yao Guang nodded. The others were shocked. Is this the lost secret technique? It's too terrifying. One strike could tear everything apart. Are you going to continue being arrogant? Yao Guang looked at Jinwu Hao. The other people of the Z government also looked at him. Jinwu Hao's scalp went numb. Although he was a top genius, this Yao Guang was not weaker than him. And this was the territory of the Z government. There was definitely a great saint overseeing this place. So he snorted coldly and descended and did not attack again. However, he still wanted to regain his face. Your formation is too terrifying. No one in the Saint King realm can break it. Are you lying to us? Indeed, Jinwu Hao's technique was flawless, and the others' chances of success were not high. Yu Fian walked over and smiled. Crown Prince, please calm down. This formation is indeed strange, and there are very few people who can break it. Even we don't have much hope. However, we still want to try and see if there is really a heaven-defying formation master who can break it. Jinwu Hao's expression eased a lot. Even the Z government only had a trace of hope, and it was not shameful for him to lose. As the others discussed, Jiang Chen looked at Dan Feng and asked, "What do you think?" Dan Feng shook his head. "Do you want to refine pills? We can break this kind of formation. Ordinary formations wouldn't be a problem, but for a top-grade formation like this, we can't break it with brute force, so we're at our wits' end." Jiang Chen sighed. It seemed that they were not fated with the great desolate heaven-splitting palm. In addition, Feng Huang looked at Yi Wudao and asked, "Do you have any ideas?" He was not very confident. Although he had studied array formations before, this array formation was clearly too mysterious. Phoenix also sighed. Their Wind Clan had collected array formations from ancient times until now. They had everything they needed. However, he was also at his wits' end. At this moment, a figure walked out and said, "I'll try." You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.